Just let me know if this ever airs.
On 107.5, The Game.
Championship Monday. Crimson Tide, Bulldogs. Tonight we will conclude the 2021 college football season. But before we do that, we got plenty we got to get into today. We'll get Patrick Perrett's thoughts on the NFL season that wraps up yesterday, and the playoff picture now complete, set, ready to go. There's nobody happier than a New Orleans Saint hat-wearing Patrick Perrett, who is ready to go.
The Saints did not make it.
Yeah, but you still love it. I mean, you're wearing a Washington football.
I'm wearing two hats, a hat and a sweatshirt of the two teams that I support whose seasons ended yesterday. But I could be happier.
Well, you could be, but I don't know. You're an NFL guy you're the NFL guy by and large. I feel like the playoff time, while it's not draft day for you, I feel like that this is a happy time, and you are thrilled to be around right now.
I mean, yesterday was supposed to be basically an irrelevant slate of games except for maybe two, but it ended up just proving why the NFL is the best sports product in the world right now. It was a ridiculous day. So much happened that made it far more interesting than it needed to be. It all just started at 1:00 when the Colts lose to the Jags, and that just told you today was going to be crazy. And we'll go through it, but in a day where chalk should have won out and the night game should have been the only game that mattered, almost every game that got played mattered. The Washington-New York Giants game, I didn't watch 1 second of. I watched 1 second of the only team I can really care about because it was just such an awesome day. So yeah, I've become a bigger college football person. I think if I was asked by someone like back home, I would say I'm a bigger college football fan than NFL fan now. But weekends like this make me reevaluate that.
They bring you back. Like I said, he is a fairly happy Perrett big carrot this morning. So coming up at about 7:15, we will get the Patrick Perrett rundown, weekend thoughts. You won't hear anything better from someone's couch as he will assess and break down. And we'll get into really a lot of things that happened yesterday. The biggest thing of the weekend, the biggest shock, right, is what we all thought would never happen, that Jacksonville does indeed spank Indianapolis 26-11 yesterday. It was a wild day. The Packers lose, but they lose because they just decide nobody's going to play the second half. Bears lose, they always lose. So you got that going as well. But yeah, it was an interesting day. We will get to a lot of the NFL and what transpired. There was some other stuff. South Carolina men's and women's team pick up victories over the weekend. Both of them were important, but the guys really needed that victory, Patrick, up in Nashville. They go out and get it. They go out and find a way to get it done. Scottie Pippen Jr. has a weird final 7 seconds. I guess maybe more about 3.5 seconds where he drives to his right, gets down around the baseline. I guess realizes he's not going to be able to get a shot off, and kicks it back out to the perimeter, and they're not able to get a shot off in time. And South Carolina goes to Nashville, and look, say what you want, it's a quad one victory. And this team is still fighting, scrapping, clawing, trying to get the postseason. They're 10-4 now, 1-1 in the SEC, a 72-70 victory. They'll get Tennessee, pretty good Tennessee team. They'll get Tennessee Tuesday night, 6:30. That game will be up in Knoxville. But you start with South Carolina men's team going up and getting some nice performances, finding a way to get it done. They had a 34-32 halftime lead. James Reese leads the team, 13 points on 5 of 11 shooting. Didn't shoot the 3-ball particularly well. In Nashville, that Memorial Gymnasium is a weird. Have you ever walked inside of that? I've never been to a game there. It's used for if you go to a football game there, you can actually walk in because they actually have a setup where you can go in as the restroom is kind of in there. And one time attending a South Carolina football game, went in there to use the restroom. And while I'm here, I may as well just walk down. Look at what the arena looks like. Walk inside. It is a strange setup, but South Carolina, as typically is in that arena, struggles to shoot the 3-ball. 1 of 6 from James Reese. 1 of 4 from Eric Stevenson, 1 of 4 from Jermaine Cousinard, just 3 3-pointers connected on. But Patrick, 13 from Reese, 10 from Wildens Levesque. You get 9 from Jermaine Cousinard, and South Carolina, again, gets to double digits on the season in victories. Vanderbilt falls to 9-4, but it was a game they had to have, and they go and find a way to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, there was an element of luck there. I don't know what Scottie Pippen was thinking. It was he could have shot the ball. I mean, if he just completely forgot about how much time there was, I don't know if he just had a brain fart or what, but he thought somebody was going to be standing on the three-point line if he just chucked it back, but obviously there wasn't going to be enough room. He had to have known when you're driving and you dribble the length of the court and you only had 6 seconds to begin with, you got to shoot the ball. So, I mean, I don't think maybe the best player in the conference makes that mistake more than one time out of 10. So, yeah, you got a little bit lucky, but they played a good game. It's a big win. We said it was not a must win, but you put yourself in a position where the Tennessee game becomes even far more important. So now, instead of playing this Tennessee game and hoping to win to keep some of your overall goals alive, this is kind of a bonus where you're traveling to the gym of a number 18 team in the country, and yeah, you get a chance for a big upset. And I think they're playing pretty well right now.
It'll be another, and we'll talk a lot about it as we go through the week. Certainly a lot on the plate today for us to get to, but it'll be another big week for South Carolina basketball. And look, again, I know a lot of people got upset when they lost to Auburn, although Auburn with a pretty impressive victory over Florida on Saturday night. Florida drops to 0-2 in conference now with back-to-back losses. And the reason I bring up the Gators, they'll be in town next Saturday for a 1 o'clock showdown with South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, and Arkansas, all teams right now in the league that do not have a victory. And South Carolina sits at 1-1. Alabama, Kentucky, LSU, all with 2-1 records. A&M, Texas A&M, and Auburn, both undefeated in league play. So it's a jumbled up SEC, but South Carolina, again, a lot of things right there in play for them when you look at the fact that they sit at 10-4 in the regular season, 1-1 in conference. The women yesterday knock off Kentucky. That game was at 1 o'clock at Colonial Life Arena. Very little problem for them. They're able to kind of cruise over the Wildcats. So a very nice victory for Dawn Staley's group, as Kentucky was a ranked team. I believe it was 21st is what I saw Kentucky yesterday. Gamecocks moved to 15-1 on the season there with a nice 74-54 victory over the Wildcats. Again, as to be expected with the way they play, it was Aaliyah Boston kind of getting the job done. 18 points, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks. I mean, that's filling the stat sheet. Zaya Cook with 19 points, but it was Aaliyah Boston 18, 15, and throw in 5 blocks. Just go ahead for good measure. Add in a nice evening from the foul line, 4 of 4 there, making everything she was I'm looking at Aaliyah Saxton's
Boston.
Victoria Saxton. Yes, her free throw count. Boston was 9 of 12 from the floor, and had a very nice night. You throw in 2 assists for her as well. So they get the job done. They move on. Not really a big surprise there for the women's team either.
Yeah, Leah Boston was getting all her flowers on Twitter this week, and I think she's probably in the driver's seat for the National Player of the Year right now. At least it seems like that from here. Zaya Cook was awesome. That combination has just been great all year. Zaya Cook put up 19 points on her birthday. And then I guess a little lower on the news, but Bree Hall, the freshman, ended up playing 23 minutes. And it seems like in games like this, you're getting valuable minutes to freshmen that could end up being really important later in the season. So there's going to be big games being played in March, tough games, a lot of games in short periods of time, and South Carolina is going to need those super talented freshmen. They can't just lean on the big 3 or the big 4, which has basically been Boston, Cook, and then Beal and Henderson. They're going to need help at some point. So it's nice to see the freshmen getting minutes right now too, and just another dominant performance against the top 25 team.
They will host Texas A&M on Thursday night here at Colonial Life Arena. According to Gamecocks Online, that game will be on SEC Network, not SEC Network Plus, but on the actual SEC Network. So that'll be Dawn Staley's and her team's next game Thursday night, 7 o'clock here at Colonial Life Arena. The other South Carolina news of the week, and they pick up one commitment out of the transfer portal, Patrick, as Terrell Dawkins, 6'4", 245-pound defensive end / outside linebacker, commits to South Carolina over the weekend, took a visit. He was originally from North Carolina State, did not play this past season, but led North Carolina State in sacks 2 years ago as a true freshman with 4.5. And not a bad little pickup for the Gamecocks as they move to 2022. One of the big areas we talk about offensive line. You talk about adding depth at wide receiver, adding playmakers. You talk about the linebacker position, but defensive end, Patrick, outside of Jordan Strong and Jordan Birch, not a lot of depth back behind them, and certainly no proven depth when you talk about a guy like Gilbert Edmond, who maybe comes in and now gets his chance. You got a few other guys there, but not a lot of proven depth there at the defensive end position. Terrell Dawkins, again, is a guy 4.5 sacks 2 years ago at North Carolina State, got injured, moved him more to a stand-up linebacker spot last year and didn't really have the impact. So he transfers out, and South Carolina's the beneficiary there of an experienced college player.
Yeah, they switched to a 3-man front, so he got recruited to be a true defensive end, and it wasn't a great fit for him with the new defensive coordinator. I can't remember what his name was, but yeah, red shirts as a freshman, then comes back in 4.5 sacks and really played in all 12 games, started 6 of them, didn't have too many snaps, 452 snaps. Actually, it looks like, I can't know if I'm reading this chart right, but that's what it looks like. And yeah, so he should be pretty impactful. I don't know if he's expected to come in and start. I assume every position is up for competition, but you want, if you're South Carolina, Jordan Birch to completely seize one of those positions and take it, and no one else can play like Enigbari did last year is what you're hoping. And then maybe you can have Terrell Dawkins and Jordan Strong rotating off on the other side. Because did you get a size on this guy, Bill? I see his high school. I saw his high school size, but not like what he's recently weighed in at NC State.
240, 6'4", 245 is what Gamecock Central had him listed at.
Okay. So yeah, as a recruit, he was 6'4", 235. So I guess that's about right. But he's how many years of college will he have left? 3?
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got time.
And he's been in college for 3 years. I mean, he's going to be a pretty developed player by the time he gets here. So he shouldn't have too much problem coming in and playing right away.
So again, there's your kind of South Carolina headline news from the weekend. Again, a lot happening there across the board. You got the NFL. We'll get back into that. College football championship game tonight. If you want to weigh in with your predictions this morning, and I'm kind of interested in this because at times I think there can be SEC fatigue even here where the SEC reigns supreme. But I'm kind of interested to see where everybody stands on this. What the exact plan is. Are you going to be invested for 4 quarters? Will you cut it on for a little while and then call it a night? Because we've talked about it, late game. It's Georgia, Alabama. We saw it a month ago. Georgia will go into tonight minus the 3. Brian Edwards, our good buddy who comes on and joins us from VegasInsider.com. He's all over Alabama tonight. Says maybe even grab a little bit of the Alabama money line tonight if you feel so inclined to do so. Patrick, it's a national championship game. I'm excited for it, but also can't say that like I have big plans or that I'm going out of my way to make sure that I'm right there for opening kickoff.
Well, okay. I mean, I'll definitely be excited for opening kickoff, but yeah, I mean, it'll change if it's not a close game and it ends at 1 to 2 a.m., which it probably will. I don't know if most people are going to adjust their bedtime for it. If you stay up till 11 o'clock and it's only the second quarter when you're trying to go to bed, are you really going to try and fight through halftime and stay up for the end of the game? I don't know how many people will, but I'm interested in kind of the rooting interest too, because I saw on Twitter all over the place was that map. Did you see the map?
I don't buy it.
Just the dumbest thing ever, where the state of Louisiana was rooting for Alabama and the state of South Carolina was rooting for Georgia. I'm interested in that because I saw people saying this is so dumb. Everyone in South Carolina is rooting for Alabama. I've talked to a lot of people that kind of want Georgia to win.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's as clear as that. I think it would be very clear if it was Alabama versus Clemson, obviously. But
why don't you put up a poll question tonight? Just who do you want to win?
Yeah.
Who do you want to win? Let's see what the early gamers have to say. Alabama or Georgia? The line 2.5 is where it actually stands. Georgia favored by 2.5 this morning.
Gamecock fans only.
No, well, you can
because Clemson fans will want Georgia to win, probably.
I don't know.
Because
Clemson fans don't like they don't like Georgia very much either.
No, but they hate Alabama because they've had matchups in the national championship and they played Georgia the closest of anybody this year besides Alabama.
Maybe so.
Don't we just want Alabama to really be knocked down?
No,
Okay?
I don't really care. And John from Somerville hits us up on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line, and this is the sentiment I share with him. I really don't have a massive rooting interest, like in terms of one team or the other. But John says I don't care who is playing. I just want a close football game, and I think that's the
Agreed.
one you want great performances, whether it's Stetson Bennett or Bryce Young. You want them going back and forth. Last night's overtime game between the Raiders and the Chargers. I wasn't a rooting interest in that ball game, but it was fun to watch. It was back and forth, and you had great performances by Justin Herbert and David Carr or Derek Carr. The bottom line is, I think that's what we're all pulling. I think that's what the majority of people are pulling for tonight, right, Patrick? Is that, I mean, it's two SEC teams, the best conference in the country. Once again, sends their two best teams off to play for the national championship, but. And again, I think there might be a little bit of fatigue. I think Ray in Bowman, he's got SEC fatigue, a little SEC jealousy this morning. He says that, the SEC, South Carolina will have their SEC conference shirts on. Yeah, you're pretty proud of your conference to have the two best teams. But I also think there's a level of fatigue of seeing that. Patrick, it might have been nice to see an Ohio State, Georgia game, something totally different. I'll just say, even though they weren't even in the playoff, if you'd have seen Oregon make a run and get in there and it'd be an Oregon-Alabama game or something just a little bit different, I could kind of fall in right. That particular
Well, the tweet's
area.
going out and it's just Alabama, Georgia, and don't care.
Don't care.
I feel like we need a don't care option. Because a lot of people don't. They're just like, it doesn't matter.
Anonymous Clemson texter says majority of Clemson fans want Alabama to win. Ray says we don't want. He's referring, I believe, to Clemson fans, but they're going for Alabama in that. It appears. Clemson,
Why?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Because I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Charles, Clemson fans. This is true. Georgia's pretty universally hated by the state of South Carolina. Clemson and Georgia also have, while you're right about Clemson and Alabama having played some national championship games, Clemson and Georgia have a history there. Now, Georgia's dominated that series, but Clemson and Georgia have had some incredible back and forth games. I think it was the Kevin Butler game on the Clemson side. Clemson, I'm sure Clemson fans could probably point to one or two incredible moments in that series where they've been able to pull some games out. There is a little bit more of a rivalry there with Clemson and Georgia, to where I can see Clemson fans having a pretty big disdain for the Georgia Bulldogs as well. Whereas Alabama's rivalry is more like, hey, we see you in the national championship game. That's nice. We're battling for the championship rights. Clemson and Georgia have had some regular season games that have been a lot of fun over the last 30 or 40 years.
For me, though, I've been here for 7 years, almost 8 years. And Georgia, I mean, obviously they haven't been a joke because they've been incredible and a top 5 team the whole time, but they haven't won anything. So they're almost like, hey, you guys are so great, but what have you won? You have nothing to show for it. You've been a great team for a decade, but you fired a coach who was consistently winning 10, 11 games and hired another coach who's doing the exact same thing and you haven't won anything. So,
And is there a little bit with South Carolina that just because Muschamp's attached to that team, they don't want Georgia to win?
that could be part
Possibly,
of it.
yeah,
Part
very
of it.
possible, very possible.
But they're almost like a laughing stock where it's like, congratulations for being one of the best teams in the country that wins absolutely nothing.
True.
So they're not like Alabama. Alabama, you actually want to see stopped a little bit because they win everything, and Georgia has accomplished nothing.
We'll get into this more as we go through the morning. If you want to weigh in, several of you are already doing that. Buddy weighing, it's game day, baby. Go Dogs. 803-404-6100. I see in Patrick's backpack what appears to be a is that going to be the is that the mayonnaise and the bananas?
No, that is the tea, but the mayonnaise and bread and bananas are on the table
All
over
right,
there.
so
Outstanding.
we've got that. Although again, I don't feel like it's punishment at all. Like, I mean, I guess eating a spicy pizza, I was happy to eat pizza. I like pizza. So while I avoided on the live stream the spiciest piece I could have gotten, that it did end up getting me. But Patrick will pay off his bowl bet this morning with a banana and mayonnaise sandwich. We'll talk about the national championship game. We'll get back into that South Carolina victory over Vanderbilt in basketball as well. And Patrick's got his
so much NFL stuff.
Patrick's got his rundown. We're going to new weekly segment that we'll do on Monday mornings. It'll be Patrick's weekly thoughts. Don't want him to do a grind his gear segment. This will just be more of a a breakdown on what you saw, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really even thought about it. We can't do just one segment of NFL though.
No, we're gonna do more. Don't worry. But we have one segment that's
There's about
strictly
10 games we're talking about. 1, 2.
Yeah, we have one segment that's just gonna be strictly you. I'm gonna walk off and go get coffee during that break. So just be prepared for that. That'll occur around.
So Bill plans on tuning in to hear everything you have to
Yeah,
say.
I'll walk outside to hear what he's got to say.
I mean, we could make a whole 3-hour show talking about yesterday.
803.
You want to dilute it to one segment so you could take a break.
803-404-6100. That's how you can join us this morning. Love Chevy phone lines or the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. And as always, you can join us on the Buford Lending live stream. Many of you up and already rolling. DC, Decor, Anthony, Chuck, Lee, Craig, Josh asking about the second welcome home from the weekend. Actually, Terrell Dawkins, from what I understand, was the second one. The first welcome home has yet to be identified. So we're still working, we're still waiting for that person to pop up and show that he is committed to South Carolina. So again, you're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
More of the early game coming up on 107.5 The Game.
Actually, was a fantastic weekend. Got it 2022 off to a great start with fantastic nights of sleep. Put that sleep number setting on 45, and whew, man, I'm telling you what, Friday night, Saturday night, even last night, absolutely tremendous. I am ready to go. There'll probably be a nap this morning after the show as well to prepare for tonight's game. In a sleep number bed, you're going to get a fantastic night of sleep. That's right. That's the great part about a sleep number bed. It can adjust to how you sleep. If you don't believe me, find out for yourself. Proven quality sleep is indeed life-changing sleep, and it starts with Sleep Number adjustability. Don't miss Sleep Number's weekend special. Save up to $1,000 on Sleep Number 360 smart beds plus special financing, but the deal ends today, Monday, January 10th. Subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See sleepnumber.com for details. Again, right now you can save up to $1,000 on a Sleep Number 360 smart bed plus special financing, but you need to get to a store today. 2 to choose from. One in Irmo on Harbison Boulevard, the other in Columbia, 2 Notch Road across from Sand Hills Mall. You can also visit them on the web, sleepnumber.com. Telling you what, I put that Sleep Number setting on 45. Wake up ready to go each and every morning. You'll do the same. A fantastic night of sleep is indeed life-changing sleep. So make the switch to Sleep Number today and find out what a great night of sleep is truly like.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com. I-77 southbound after Garner's Ferry Road, the right lane currently blocked, and that is due to an earlier accident. Looking for a high today of 52.
Michael, that sounds very cold. Glad I'm not in Ohio this morning. Yeah, it might just be the radio. I don't, Lee, I'm not sure. Should be good. Shouldn't have any static. Didn't take time to look at the actual like NFL schedule for next weekend. To start to get a feel for how I'm going to spend my next weekend.
There's basically going to be
so like Saturday,
4 to midnight on Saturdays, 1 to midnight on Sundays.
And then a Monday night. Still,
the Monday nighter.
Is strange. I can't. Good. Yeah, Pittsburgh getting in. Kansas City. There's some like classic matchups. New England at Buffalo. San Francisco at Dallas. I feel like Pittsburgh at Kansas City is probably a
what?
Kind of a traditional storied matchup. It doesn't like San Francisco Dallas obviously is all is.
Yeah, that's the Nickelodeon game.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, RL, you made it all the way through the Raiders and the Chargers. Woo. And up early at them. Good job, buddy. Oh, yeah, let's see. I need to get the old Twitter up and retweet your poll.
Oh, yeah, I wonder what those early results are. Clay is back.
Yeah, how did he do? I don't know.
He played 20 minutes and scored 17 points.
Wow. Okay.
I like Klay Thompson a lot. Took 18 shots in 20 minutes. Sounds like they were definitely just trying to get him involved.
Oh, yeah. Sad news last night about that. The old Bob Saget.
Yeah. He just did a show last night in Orlando.
Yeah.
Or 2 nights ago in Orlando, the night before he died.
Hate to hear that. That was awful. Yeah, you got a feeling that, just a bad feeling that the autopsy's not going to come back good on that one. Just
Yeah, not natural causes.
And now, back to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV. Did I get delivered here? Somebody tell me, please. So world confusing me.
Yeah, that was the sad news last night. I guess what, about 7:30ish is when it started to break.
Yeah, something like that. It's terrible.
You haven't heard the passing of Bob Saget, from last night. Full House. I believe he was on. I've not watched an episode of Fuller House.
Oh my gosh! And then they ended up canceling it after a couple seasons for whatever reason. Yeah, but it was funny.
My daughter liked it.
Yeah.
Ansley was very much about it. But yeah, that was the sad news last night. Patrick, you said he'd just done a show in Orlando. They found him. He had passed in a hotel room in Orlando, Florida. There, and you said he'd just done a show Saturday night. Is that right?
In Jacksonville or something.
Yeah, so he did 2 hours of stand up, and I think right in that area. I think in Orlando.
Okay, in the Orlando area.
Yeah.
So the last night, Bob Saget, of course, probably most well known. I know him from a few other roles as well, but obviously Full House, I believe, would be the one that everybody remembers him from. And 65 years of age, so tough loss there. Thoughts and prayers with his family. But yeah, Danny Tanner, that was the show that I grew up with.
It was a couple. It was that America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which, oddly enough, I was watching. It happened as I was watching America's Funniest Home Videos,
and then his stand up obviously has been very successful. And playing his like true self or dirty self in Entourage.
Yeah.
Yeah, complete polar opposite from what his role in Full House was.
I've heard him talk about how that was kind of strategic to make like a parody of himself, but also kind of show people like, hey, I'm not like America's sweetheart, Danny Tanner, like Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Innocent. Like that's not actually who I am. So yeah, that was the growing up moment for me and seeing him there.
Yeah, 1987 is when Full House premiered. And that was certainly always a show that, of course, I would have been about 5 years old at that time, but that is growing up. I'll watch. So yeah, I guess the newer age America's Dad, right? Like I think Andy. Well, was it Andy Griffith that probably was the original America's Father?
I think so, and I think from like way back before my time, like Father Knows Best. I think that was the quintessential dad, and then Andy Griffith, and but I think. Yeah, he's more the
Who's America's dad now?
There isn't a show like that.
Yeah, I was going to say not. I can't really think of any.
Is there? I mean, it's a good question. Like, who is?
I mean, is there a show that has been on for 10 years that everyone's watching right now?
That has a strong I don't father figure.
like a father type, like a family type father figure. You certainly wouldn't say Jeff Garland, who just got fired from what's the show that actually I used to, the Goldbergs. I don't think anybody would say Jeff Garland is America's dad. And of course, he just got fired from the Goldbergs. Yeah, I don't know. Danny Tanner. Well, think about that. That's
Homer Simpson.
Is it Homer?
Yeah, that's
it. I don't know. Can America's Dad be animated? In yellow?
It's not Peter Griffin, right?
No, it's probably not Peter Griffin. Homer's been doing it longer.
803.
Oh, somebody actually just texted that. Good on you. Whoever anonymous texter just texted that.
Homer Simpson. Okay.
And then immediately followed by a Peter Griffin.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. So who knows? I don't know if we have one, but yeah, the unfortunate passing last night. The one weird thing, and we'll move back to the College Football National Championship, because I guess growing up, when ABC, which is again, it was odd that I was watching Carlton. I forget his actual name.
Alfonso Ribeiro,
yeah. He was hosting last night America's Funniest Home Videos, and I was watching it with the kids, and ABC did a news cut-in, like we were going to war or something. Like what, we have breaking news, and I was like, what has happened now?
Right.
And they just had the reporter going and goes, Bob Saget has passed away at age 65, found in a Orlando hotel. We'll have more information as it breaks. And I was kind of like, is that ABC cut in breaking news? Like, is it that big?
No. And I'm kind of annoyed with, they're doing a lot of that for a lot of things. It's like, that it's newsworthy, but like do a headline at the top of the hour. I think they used to do that, or breaking news this hour or whatever, and then, watch the news tonight for full details or go online. So yeah, I'm a little annoyed by all this breaking news business.
Chuck weighs in, by the way, on the Buford Lending live stream. John Dutton, which, by the way, Patrick, now we've got a small break that if we're going to get into the Yellowstone, I believe.
Yeah, but it's too early. I don't want to binge it and then have to wait a year to watch season 5.
Season 5, all right.
I thought about starting Ozark yesterday. I didn't pull the trigger.
Gotcha. 803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in. this morning. If you want to weigh in on America's dad, that was kind of an interesting topic with the passing of Bob Saget last night. Again, thoughts and prayers to he and his family. But tonight, national championship, Alabama and Georgia. Georgia, again, about a 2.5-point favorite. I feel like Patrick's got a poll question. You can go to his Twitter account @_Patrick Perrette is where you can go. He's got a very beautiful picture of himself sitting in front of a microphone. If you're wondering what he looks like, I really feel like, Patrick, most people, and we're not about to talk to most people, but most people are pulling just for a good game. I don't know if there is a strong divide on this. However, there is one young man who is all over the Alabama Crimson Tide. It is our own Roll Tide Larry, who I'm sure is ready to make his official prediction. I remember he picked South Carolina to beat North Carolina 35-23 in the bowl game, missed by just a couple points. So,
also, we'll be happy to know that I was in Greenwood on Saturday, and I did purchase liver pudding at the local KJ's.
Oh,
Greenwood.
no, we will have to get a take on that. There is some.
I haven't cooked it. It's in my fridge right now.
Okay. All right, Roll Tide Larry. What is the prediction for tonight?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know. It's kind of hard. Score's been in with me for quite a while. Alabama 31-20, but I think it's going to be a lot more scoring than that. So I finally boiled it down the best I could. And I think, let me get it right now, I think it's going to be Alabama 38, Georgia 34. Now, if you want to know how I got that, Alabama, 5 touchdowns and a field goal. Georgia, 4 touchdowns and 2 field goals. Final score, 30. Am I right? Let me make, yeah, I think that, well, you figure it out. Well, Alabama, Roll Tide roll. I'm going to stick with Alabama to the end. And then starting Thursday, we're going to talk Gamecock football and Gamecock baseball, basketball. I got to get my baseball things kind of put together. But I'll tell you what, this old Gamecock fan's feeling good.
All right.
Beat North Carolina, man. What you got to say?
What is that? What is that in the back? Is that your microwave in the background with it that's going?
Oh yeah, I got me some. What I got? I got me some hot water for coffee. Boy, I'm mad. I'm mad. I think my son-in-law got a hold of my liver pudding yesterday, and I can't find it nowhere. Yeah, he done gone to work, but I will get him when he get home. I believe he got my liver pudding. Huh?
Better call his butt home.
Well, I'll tell you what, he got my liver pudding, he got my, I can't even find my onion sausage, man, but I guess I'll have to eat those dry toast and butter and jelly. But Roll Tide, go Gamecocks. Boy, I will tell you what, that game Saturday afternoon, boy, it was good. I really enjoyed it. Old Scotty Pippen's good, but it wasn't the best Saturday afternoon. But all you fans get ready. Like I say, it's going to be 30, 34. What did I say?
Yeah, you said 30, you said 38, 34. Yeah, well,
we're going to win by, they're going to win by 4, I think it is. Go, I started to say go Gamecocks. I'm a Gamecock. But it's kind of hard to say the Roll Tide, but I will never be a Tiger Sean, a Crimson Sean. I'll never, ever be a Tiger. Roll Tide!
Oh, that is good. You have a good morning. And get his cousin or nephew back over there and get the guy some liver pudding and some onions.
Doubt.
The onion sausage is good. I can get on board with that.
Don't know that I've had that.
Wow, there is a lot of energy there with Roll Tide Larry this morning. So 38-34 is his pick. That would, by the way, go well over the over-under total of 52.5, Patrick. Vegas not seeing the number of points the Gamecock Larry is. We'll continue talking about that. Patrick's going to get us into the NFL schedule he is fired up. We were just looking at the weekend NFL schedule. The playoff schedule is coming up. So we've got a lot that we're going to get into this morning. Again, if you want to weigh in, 803 404-60-100 on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line or on the Love Chevy phone lines. Again, you can always join us on the Buford Lending live stream, and I'm with it. Anthony says, was Gamecock Larry driving the golf cart? He put it in reverse. He's out there on a scooter on that thing, so be careful out there this morning. Again, you can join us, 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
This is South Carolina head women's basketball coach Dawn Staley, and you're listening to the home of the Gamecocks, WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
2022 is off to just a great start. You heard the energy right there from Gamecock Larry, so everything is going extremely well. Now the question would be, how about your house? Is it clean? All the family members that stopped by for the Christmas or New Year's party, did they leave it a mess? Are you ready to get that house clean? The rugs, upholstery, the tile, is everything needing to be put back in order? If so, don't wait any longer. Call Zero Res today, 803-262-4020. That's how you can get in touch with Zero Res. You can also book online at zerorescolumbia.com. That's the way to reach them. Zero Res right now is offering a great deal. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $119. And when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, you'll get a hallway cleaned for free. You just have to mention my name, not the short guy, not the funny sounding guy. You actually have to say Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, and you can get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $119 plus a hallway cleaned for free. Zero Res and their patented ZR water technology with its superior long-lasting clean will make your house look and smell fantastic. So don't wait any longer. 803-262-4020, or you can schedule online, zerorescolumbia.com. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
From the
Yeah, I agree. Onion sausage from Kaufman's, DC. That is some really good stuff. Just take that, just a piece of white bread, make a little sandwich, put some mustard on it. Oh boy,
Or just eat it.
do what?
Or just eat it plain.
Yeah, but I like like a little sandwich. I mean, you're right. I've eaten both, but man, like you go to the golf tournament when they have golf tournaments and they have onion sausage. Oh, you had some when
the gas station. Yeah, I had some there, but also the gas station I go to they open up at like 4 a.m. just to make breakfast and feed us because there's hundreds of us.
So
at
it's kind of like a. Those are usually really good.
And I think it might be Kaufman's because it tastes exactly like that. The onion sausage sandwiches they have, but I'll tell them like just put 2 of them, 2 links in the sausage or the hot dog containers. I'll just eat them by hand.
No, I mean
They're just so good.
Quite delicious.
They have hot sausage too.
Yeah, somebody said that. Who's that? Chuck went hot
onion sausage.
Yeah, I think Larry had been awake for a few hours there. He was ready to go. He was I think we had kept him on hold. We'd kept him backstage just long enough. DC, I've heard that place. I know what you're talking about out on right there at Shore Road. It's not really convenient for me. It's a little out of the way, but I've heard they've got that little kitchen there as you go into the right, and I've heard they've got great like breakfast or sandwiches and everything, kind of the old school breakfast sandwiches.
This is awesome. Do you see Boomer Esiason said that he got a text from someone in Jordan Love's direct circle and that told him to be ready because Aaron Rodgers is going to boycott the Super Bowl if the NFL doesn't change their testing. Aaron Rodgers responded with just like 20 hashtags. Hashtag direct circle. Hashtag dumbest effing story ever. Hashtag fake news. Hashtag boycott fake news. Hashtag boycott bums. Hashtag boycott shoes. Hashtag boycott waterfalls. Hashtag boycott LaFleur's brows. Hashtag boycott Gucci's. Hashtag boycott AJ smoking cigars. Kurt.
No, Kelly, I don't think anybody had the Jags beating the Colts yesterday. That's why I didn't. I took a little parlay yesterday, but I didn't put much money on it. Really, the only reason I put money on it was, or I had anything on it, was just to have something to kind of watch. But I mean, I knew it was a bad one, but I took the Packers, hoping that they would get up big with Rodgers in the first half. $803-404-6100. How you can join us. You can also hop on the Buford Lending live stream where we've gotten into a little bit of onion sausage discussion this morning, Patrick. A little bit different. Last week was grits. There was some liver pudding. This morning is onion sausage. And coming up, I guess, in about the next 2 hours is when you're going to.
Yeah, I need to finish my coffee. I brought a tea with me because I don't want to eat bananas and mayo with
fair.
coffee.
Yeah,
so once I finish my coffee and wash it down, I'll get cracking on the sandwich.
So Patrick's gonna have his own. We're gonna do it two different ways. We're gonna not just limit Patrick to talking about the NFL for just one segment. We have a segment coming up about 7:15 this morning that will be Patrick's weekend thoughts, which you'll give more of a quicker rundown of anything you saw.
I mean, there's something from almost every game. I'll try and fly through all the games as much as I can and give them kind of a elevator pitch summary of all the games.
And then we'll come back. We'll give you more time because, as Kelly says on the Buford Lending live stream, did anybody have the Jags beating the Colts yesterday, especially the way they dominated them?
History says you probably should have.
I mean, they were 2-24 against the rest of the league in the last 6 years and 2-2 against the Colts or something ridiculous.
They play the Colts twice a year, so they've won their last 7 in Jacksonville.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
They're in the. I mean, absolutely. And
Insane.
Kelly asks, did that cost them the first pick in the NFL draft? Where did everything finish?
No, the Jaguars won that game and still get the number 1 pick because the Lions beat the Packers.
That's true. The Lions did beat the Packers yesterday. The Packers pulled Aaron Rodgers at halftime, and Jordan Love threw 2 interceptions late in that ball game that ended up costing the Packers. So, yeah, we'll get a complete rundown here in about 20 minutes from Patrick Prep. But not only that'll be the quick rundown, his weekend thoughts. He might throw in some movies or some, who knows what it is. It'll be Patrick's on segment. And then we will get to some actual NFL talk in the next hour, as well as continuing to break down and look ahead to this coming tonight's national championship game. Again, also over the weekend, South Carolina goes to Nashville and picks up a big 72-70 victory over Vanderbilt. That dropped Vanderbilt to 9-5 on the season, 1-1 in the SEC. And South Carolina gets double digits, Patrick, 10-4. We'll talk a little bit about that as well, because that's a big victory, and it leads to another big week with Tennessee on the road and Florida in Columbia next Saturday, Colonial Life Arena at 1:00.
Yeah, and I just know, is it translatable? Is that the confidence they needed? Because coming back from that long, almost 2-week break, playing the top 10 team in Auburn, really not being competitive in that game, you needed a good bounce back, and that's exactly what they got in Nashville. So a lot of good energy right now.
So a lot going on. South Carolina also getting a commitment from North Carolina State transfer Terrell Dawkins over the weekend. Yeah, there's a lot on a Monday morning for us to get into. And again, if you want to join us in hour 2 or 3, no guests today. It's all Patrick, myself, Jen, and you. 803-404-6100. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening based off the Twitter exchanges last night. Aaron Rodgers also got into a back and forth with his third string quarterback. He tweeted at the third string quarterback and said, "Were you the hashtag source, Kirk Benkert? Hashtag someone said they were in my inner circle." They called him Benedict Arnold. No, it did not cost them the first pick, Kelly. They still have the number one pick. Washington picking 11.
Who are they taking?
Whatever quarterback they like. I don't like any of them, so maybe Kenny Pickett. I'd be okay with Kenny Pickett. The Giants have 5 and 7. The Jets have 4 and 10.
Nice.
The Eagles have 15, 16, and 18.
There's one more who committed, Kelly. Nobody signed, but yeah, he hadn't been announced. It has not been announced yet as to that's a woman's watch. Apologize. I'm trying to go back and look and see what all I ordered off of Amazon this week because I went on a tear. Oh,
They might, Chuck. I don't know. Some people like to speculate because they went to Pitt, but we'll see. I don't think anybody's going to make a big move up for a quarterback this year. It's just not worth it. Just take one and cross your fingers that he's good. There's no Trevor Lawrence in this class.
you never know. Those people, man, kind of like what was it with Trubisky, who got all excited a couple years ago. I mean, you can see somebody. So the Chiefs are a 13-point favorite against the Steelers. Buffalo's minus 4.5 against the Patriots. Wow. Oh, Dan Mullen picked Georgia to beat Alabama 27-17. Dan Mullen picked Georgia 27-17 over.
Where?
It says sidelines Bama. SSN Bama.
Is Dan Mullen a media guy now?
I think he did a little bit of stuff not too long ago, but I didn't know he was. I wouldn't be surprised if he'd been on SEC Network or something. Welcome in on a Monday morning where you can join in the fun. National Championship Monday, the end of the NFL regular season Monday. The playoffs are now here. Patrick, they almost pulled off the tie last night there in Vegas between
the worst timeout in NFL history.
Yeah, the Chargers.
Probably so. You saw the timeout?
No, I didn't stay awake for this. No.
Well, you did. It's the top story in the NFL this weekend. You'll see it happen here in a minute. It went to overtime, 38 seconds left. The Raiders were 3rd and 4, and it was going to be a 57-yard field goal. It was going to be a long field goal, I think 57. So Brandon Staley called a timeout. The Chargers coach called a timeout, thinking, I guess, that they would stop them and the Raiders would punt, and maybe the Chargers would try and score. But he called a timeout, and the Raiders were just going to run the clock out because they were so far. So instead of letting them run the clock out and both teams making the playoffs, he called the timeout. The Raiders went to the sideline and were like, okay, let's kind of reconsider this thing, and then decide to draw up a play, get a first down, kick the game-winning field goal. So it quite literally cost them the playoffs, cost both these teams the playoffs. It's pretty wild.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I see that there. The field goal.
That's the field goal, the go-ahead field goal in overtime. Then the Chargers answered and kick a field goal to answer. So there's actually a huge – it's actually just an amazing game top to bottom.
Save it.
2 scores in overtime. But, yeah, keep watching this and you'll see what happened. It was moronic.
Save it. We got plenty of NFL talk we're going to get to this morning. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we're going to give you Patrick Perrett's weekend thoughts, which will mostly center around the NFL, but he'll give you
It's only going to center around the NFL.
Okay, all around the NFL. But, yeah, that'll be more of your quick segment. We'll get into the more long-winded segment as we continue to roll through the morning. We already also have a poll question up. If you want to stay up or if you want to join, Kyle saying I didn't stay awake for that game. No, I was not staying up for the Chargers and the Raiders.
That's the timeout right there. 38 seconds left. 3rd and 4.
I was not going to participate in a Chargers Raiders. I was thoroughly. The Chargers Raiders didn't start at 4 p.m. Kyle.
Wrong.
Yeah. You're not thinking of the right game there, buddy. Kyle, that was the Sunday night NFL game on NBC. That was Chargers. What time did you stay up for? Did you catch it? No,
not all of it.
Yeah, it was the late game. You're thinking of the wrong one there. 803-404-6100. That's how you can join us, or you can hop on the Buford Lending live stream where Kyle is at. Robin, Kelly, Travis, apparently my 2 kids, Austin and Ansley, have decided to make an appearance there as well. If you want to join in that way, you can do so. You can also go to Patrick's Twitter account @_Patrick Perrett. We have the poll question up. Who do you want to win tonight is just a simple question. Or do you care? As a matter of fact, some people weighing in, they just simply don't care about tonight. And Patrick, I'll say it again, I do think there is a level of SEC fatigue in this game. I think there's a level, as a matter of fact, right now, the poll question up for about an hour has over 75 votes. And you've got Alabama with 44% of the vote, 37% say they don't care, and 18% saying Georgia, 18.7%. I'm with this. If you made me pick one tonight, I'd kind of pull for Georgia. Got family that went to Georgia. Did a little bit of background there. I think Alabama's going to win. My prediction would be Alabama is going to win this game. I think Bryce Young continues to play really well. I think Nick Saban will outcoach Kirby Smart again. We'll see if Stetson Bennett can go out and light up the Alabama defense. But my prediction in this game would be to take Alabama for them to win the football game. I think I might pull for Georgia a little bit, but my biggest thing would be to come in here tomorrow to do the Sports Talk radio show with you and to be talking about, man, what a great game that was. It came down similar to the first national championship between these two, and we had a memorable play, long touchdown pass. That would be my hope for tonight's game. Whoever wins, do it in some kind of memorable fashion and make it a lot of fun to watch.
I want Georgia to win strictly because I have been saying that Georgia was going to win since early in the summer. So I would love to be proven right, and that's more important to me than any sort of allegiance. But if they don't win, I want Jamison Williams to go crazy. I want Bryce Young to throw for 400 yards, Jamison Williams to catch for 175 and 2 or 3 touchdowns, and it to be exactly like the SEC championship was, because I want to come in here and say, is Kirby Smart on the hot seat now? Like, I want there to be a scenario where we come into this and say, Kirby just can't get it done. He can recruit like a madman, but Saban is his kryptonite. He's just incapable of beating Nick Saban. Does Georgia need to just blow it up and try and start again from scratch?
I don't think they'll be doing that. There's definitely no.
I mean, but what Mark Richt was doing a phenomenal job when he got fired too, right?
He was doing. I think now 2 national championship game appearances in 5 years. Is that right? This would have been Muschamp's 5th or 6 years, I believe, something like that.
Can't get over Saban though. Can't get over the Saban hump.
It's true, although not a lot of people do get over the Nick Saban obstacle that is out there.
Can't coach ball. All he can do is recruit.
Okay, yeah,
that's what I want the storyline to be tomorrow about Kirby. So if Georgia loses,
that's Patrick. He is pulling. So that means you're taking. Now you've got.
That's only if Georgia loses. I want Georgia to win because I want to be proven right, and I've been saying Georgia for a year now.
Gotcha. Okay, so I've got you're going to pick Georgia to win tonight?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
You're picking Georgia.
Being correct is more important to me than anything.
I understand. One other note from the weekend yesterday, Patrick, and I don't want to step on your toes here with your segment coming up here, so I don't know if Debo Samuel's on your list of things to talk about.
No, he's just a beast.
Debo Samuel yesterday, 1 of 1 passing, 24 yards and a touchdown, 8 rushes for 45 yards and a touchdown, and 4 catches for 95 yards yesterday. No touchdowns there receiving. But you're right, Debo Samuel, and we kind of brought this up just a little bit last week, or it really didn't get brought up in regards to Debo Samuel when you talk about the MVP. But what he has become in the NFL this year is absolutely amazing. I mean, we knew Debo Samuel was good, and I don't want to take anything away from him, but he is maybe, Patrick, where would you put him in terms of dynamic players across the board in the NFL?
He's almost put himself in his own category because, I mean, you don't think of him for some reason. Maybe it's East Coast bias, but on the national landscape, he's not put into that category with Devontae Adams, with Justin Jefferson, and guys like that who you think of who are the best receivers in the NFL right now. His name never really comes up in that discussion, or even Cooper Kupp this year because he's been absurd. But he's like, everyone acknowledges that he's just an insane weapon with the ball in his hands, and he's done so much. 8 touchdowns on the ground this year. Like, you can't really compare him to other wide receivers when he's doing things like that. So I think he's just overall understood to be one of the best weapons or offensive X factors in the league right now. And I think he's going to get paid accordingly. I mean, it's going to be after next year, I think he'll be eligible for a contract extension, and they're going to have to break the bank to keep him around because he's going to be so sought after. He's definitely becoming a household name too, which is cool to see.
Okay. I mean, certainly the way he plays.
What Carolina players have been legitimate superstars or household names? Clowney came into the league as a household name because he was the number 1 pick. Debo Samuel, I mean, Stephon Gilmore because he won the Defensive Player of the Year, but
I think there
corners
was a
don't really
period.
get love
I
like
think
that.
there was a period where Melvin Ingram was making a bigger name for himself when he was with the Chargers.
Relatively speaking, but you wouldn't have called him one of the superstars of the game.
And then, quite honestly, well before your time and even somewhat before my time, even though I was alive, Sterling Sharp was certainly that guy.
Yeah.
I think when you talk about making a true name for yourself, and I know people want to go back further and further. Brad Edwards had an interception.
I mean,
in the Super Bowl.
Alshon was really good his
true.
last couple years in Chicago, and then he got that big deal to go to Philly. But I think Debo's playing as well as any Gamecock has played in the past 10 years or so, save for Stephon Gilmore's MVP season.
So 803-404-6100. That's how you can join us this morning. Again, Cool Care Heating and Air text line, or you can join us on the Buford Lending live stream. I've already got family members weighing in. My daughter Ansley says she's pulling for Georgia tonight and says that I better join her. My son Austin, I believe, will be pulling for Alabama. Who have you got? Who do you want to win tonight? Our good buddy Jim in Carolina Beach. He says he doesn't care. And I can see that with a lot of people. You can go to Patrick's Twitter account. If you're not already following him, please follow him. He would need some subscribers there. It is @_Patrick
Yeah, I need
Perret.
1,000 followers.
You're not at 1,000, buddy?
No.
I thought you were over 1,000.
No.
Oh, we got to get Patrick over. All right. We're making a push for more subscribers on the YouTube channel and more followers for Patrick. Yeah, he's at 961. Let's get those numbers up as well. But you can go to his Twitter account and vote on tonight. Who do you want to win Alabama right now? Over 100 votes in Alabama at 44.3%. And don't care is at 36.8%. So, again, Patrick, I think there might be a little bit of SEC fatigue. We'll continue talking about the national championship game. But next up, it's the first ever segment. It'll be all Patrick Perret. It is Patrick's weekend game notes. Again, it's not necessarily a breakdown of every game. It's just things that stood out to him from the weekend. Sometimes it'll be movies that you want to discuss. Sometimes it'll be.
I'm actually, after today, going to be canceling my movie subscription.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
There you go. See, it's not going to be a what grinds
the
his
busy
gears
season is over.
Yeah, it's not going to be a what grinds his gears segment. It's just going to be simply hot takes about what he saw from the weekend. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. Busy weekend there at the house. Was able to relax a little bit. Had some basketball with the son. Had the daughter dancing around the house. Now it's time to call zero res, because if you're like me, your kids make a mess. It's just what they do. They leave crumbs on the floor. They just make messes, and then they leave you, the parent, to clean it up. And I'm not very good at cleaning, so I call the people I trust the most. Zero res with their patented ZR water technology. They get out to the house. They make the rugs, the tile, the upholstery look insanely clean. So that way, when the kids come back, the house looks clean and it's ready for them to make a mess again. But in between, it is Zero Res that takes care of me and my house, and you need to call them today. Get them out. Schedule an appointment. 803-262-4020. That's how you can get in touch with Zero Res today. You can also book online, ZeroResColumbia.com, the way to reach out to them right now. You can get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $119. 3 rooms clean for $119. And when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, you can get your hallway cleaned for free. So don't wait around. Get Zero Res out to your house today with their patented ZR water technology, scientifically proven to get your rugs, your carpet, your tile, your upholstery insanely clean. 803-262-4020, or you can book online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Again, 3 rooms right now for $119. That's all it'll cost to get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned. And when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, you can get your hallway cleaned for free. Get that house clean today. Make it part of your 2022 New Year's resolution. Call Zero Res, 803-262-4020. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
would make this just kind of, like I said, about 3-4 minutes. Some mornings you're gonna have a lot. Some mornings you're not gonna have much. What I want to do, I talked to Terry about it, and Jen, we want to get you some music, get you some, not some music necessarily in the background, but kind of like an intro piece here. I don't want to completely rip off what Levitar does, but I like the little thing with the pen, click, click, and having somebody go, here's our boy Patrick. Nobody gives you hot takes from his couch better than Patrick Pratt, to have like an intro for you. It's going to take a few weeks to get right, but
yeah, it'll take a while.
But you'll get the hang of it. I like kind of this. Like I said, don't feel like you got to, but yeah, I mean, make it your own segment. I just sent you that one suggestion just for you to hear how he does it. What they're going to do is also, we're going to get you do a couple of these, especially this first one. We're going to get it to Josh and Jeff, and they're going to take it out and try and sell it too as get you a sponsored segment there. But yeah, just we'll see how the first one goes, and then we'll work with Jen to find kind of what you like for a nice little like intro portion of it.
Orlovsky is just hurting right now. He loves Carson Wentz. He's ready to cry.
Oh.
Did you see Orlovsky's blog from a couple weeks ago?
No.
The thing that
he does look very sad this morning.
Well, he wrote a blog for All Pro Dad, I think it was called, allprodad.com. But it was just like how to be a good husband or person or something. And he's got roasted because one of the things that he wrote as an entry was, you can never be alone with a woman. You can never be in the same room alone with a woman. It's like, John Kitna told me that years ago. You can never be alone with a woman in the same room. Too much temptation. And everyone's like, Dan, what? What are you talking about, bud? And ever since then, he's become basically a meme.
He's a
weird guy. Yeah, the whole thing was about. R.I.P. Bob. I was getting a tattoo of Betty White's initials when I heard the news.
$7:21 on a Monday morning. Hope you are up and at 'em. The second full week of January is officially upon us as we wrap up the NFL regular season. We move on to the playoffs. And tonight, we wrap up the 2021 college football season. Georgia, Alabama tonight, 8 o'clock on ESPN is the way that you can check that out. Patrick, it's that time. We are going to give on Monday mornings now, Patrick. Nobody watches sports, movies, anything quite like the old big carrot over to my right. And in the coming weeks, we will develop more of an intro for Patrick. We'll turn him loose. But now it is Patrick Perrett's.
Yeah.
What do you want? Do you want it to be game notes? Do you want it to be weekly thoughts? Do you want it to be? I don't want you to come in here angry and do a what grinds my gears segment.
No,
but
it's not going to be that. I mean, right now, I don't even know how to go through all of this. I guess I'll try to do it chronologically, just what I experienced throughout the day.
All right.
Honestly, the NFL Sunday was a whirlwind. It was supposed to be a relaxing day that nothing really was going to matter. The two of the earliest games were going to determine the number one pick, if anything. The Jags and Lions were both supposed to lose, or maybe the Lions were going to win because Aaron Rodgers wasn't going to play. Aaron Rodgers ended up playing one half, throwing 2 touchdowns, 14 for 18 in the first half, was just absolutely money, locked up the MVP. Then Jordan Love came in and was terrible again. He threw for 134 yards, but 2 picks in one half, and the Lions won the football game. So the Lions guaranteed themselves the number 2 pick, cost themselves the number 1 pick, just like that. But the Packers are kind of going to be screwed. The big takeaway there is the Packers better figure out a way to keep Aaron Rodgers, because Jordan Love is not the guy. They took Jordan Love in the first round to try and secure their future, but all they did was upset Aaron Rodgers and then completely destroy their future. So they're all in right now. But really the shock of the day was, for the 7th consecutive time, the Colts go into Jacksonville to, TIAA something stadium, I think, and get their butts kicked by the worst team in the league. Trevor Lawrence looked like a real NFL quarterback in that game for the first time, and Carson Wentz is just an absolute disaster. Colts trade a first-round pick for him. He looked good at times because he is a big-time athlete, but just a complete disaster. So that opened up the entire AFC. As soon as that went final, you're looking around saying, okay, well, now the winner of the Steelers-Ravens game is going to end up in the playoffs. And the Steelers and Ravens also went to overtime. There were three games that had direct playoff implications that went to overtime, and the Steelers and Ravens almost tied that thing too. If they tied, they were both going to not make the playoffs. But Big Ben was kind of clutch there at the end, and Najee Harris had another big run, and the Steelers knocked off the Ravens, the Ravens have been the most injured team I've ever seen in NFL football. So I guess good for the Steelers, but you looked to the night game. As soon as the Steelers won, all they needed was a winner in the AFC game, the Raiders-Chargers game that night. All they needed was a winner, and they were going to make the playoffs. And that thing got 30 seconds away from being a tie. We wanted the kneel off, and it didn't happen, but I think I did a bad job explaining the timeout situation in the last segment. But the Raiders were in very long field goal range, a 57-yard field goal. They were at third down with 38 seconds left. So in this time, the Raiders are thinking, we're just going to run down the clock and then maybe attempt a 60-ish yard field goal as time expires. If we make it, we win the game and we're in the playoffs. If we miss it, we lose and we're in the playoffs anyway, so it doesn't matter. But Brandon Staley, the Chargers coach, calls a timeout, one of the most inexplicable timeouts ever in an NFL game. I think his rationale was that they're going to just try and kick it or whatever, and we'll try and get the ball back and score and win the game. Like, there's actually no way that it makes sense. So he calls the timeout, and the Raiders go to the sideline and they talk it out and they say, hey, why don't we just try and gain some yards and go win the game? And they do. They pick up a 10 yards in the next play and kick a 47-yard field goal as time expires and win the game. And Brandon Staley is kind of the joke of the NFL right now. So the premier game, and the only thoughts from the game is Brandon Staley, Mr. Analytics, just completely blew it. So analytics are going to be getting dragged this morning too, because he's been the punching bag for the anti-analytics community all week. The other punching bag is Joe Judge. He was a moron. He ran 2 QB sneaks on 2nd and 10 and 3rd and 9 yesterday. Bill, did you see that?
Did not, no.
You should probably find Twitter. If you just type in QB sneak, you'll probably see the video of it. Third and not because they gave up a safety last week. The Giants gave up a safety last week against the Bears, and Joe Judge said that he didn't want to give up another safety this week. So from think around the 5-yard line, he ran back-to-back QB sneaks with 10 and 9 yards to go. So he's an absolute joke. The Giants are bringing him back for some reason. The Giants have been the worst team in the NFL over the last 4 years, and they're going to continue to bring back Dave Gettleman, Joe Judge, and Daniel Jones. So they'll be horrendous again next year. Bears-Vikings was a nothing game. The Vikings won that thing. Both those coaches are going to get fired. Matt Nagy, Mike Zimmer, both pretty much guaranteed to be fired. I assume Kirk Cousins will be a free agent now because the Vikings need to blow that whole thing up. But we will see what shakes out there. They were a Super Bowl contender for the last couple of years, have had an awesome roster, and just nothing came out of that. So really unfortunate for Vikings fans. The Titans locked up the number 1 seed very, very quietly. No one's been talking about the Titans this year, but they just quietly went 12-5. Mike Vrabel might be the best coach in the NFL at this very moment. They didn't have a 1,000-yard rusher. They didn't have a 1,000-yard receiver. A.J. Brown was hurt most of the season. Derrick Henry was hurt most of the season, and they just kept winning games. Ryan Tannehill threw for 4 touchdowns, and no one's going to talk about him today because we just convinced ourselves that Ryan Tannehill wasn't very good when he was in Miami. Just keeps winning football games. So the Super Bowl is going through Nashville in the AFC, and Derrick Henry is going to come back for the first playoff game. The Titans will have a bye next week. Derrick Henry started practicing last week, and he should be fully rested and fully healthy for that first playoff game. So the Titans are going to be an absolute problem. And then moving over to the NFC, there wasn't much. There was only one playoff spot available, and that was going to either go to the 49ers or the Saints. So they were playing at exactly the same time. The NFL does such a good job scheduling these at the exact same time so that you have to go back and forth and you know the implications nonstop, and the announcers do a good job of telling you what's happening in the other game. So Saints fans, Taysom Hill went down early. Trevor Siemian came in and won that game. The Saints thought they were about to limp into the playoffs, but they all switched over to the 49ers-Rams game, which another important game, and went to overtime and was absolutely electric. The 49ers playmakers are so fun to watch. What Kyle Shanahan does is just gets guys that are great after the catch, and Jawan Jennings from Tennessee, who crushed South Carolina with that, 3rd and 20-something.
Yeah, we don't want to repeat that one. Just stay positive.
Goodness gracious, was he good last night. He 94 yards and 2 touchdowns, just made every big play at the end of the game. Debo Samuel was awesome, running, passing, catching, literally everything. And the 49ers beat the Rams in overtime. And side note, the Rams fan base is a joke. The LA fans in all sports are just terrible. It was so loud when the 49ers were on defense, and there was cheering every time the 49ers made a play. You could hear it through the television that it felt like a 49ers home game in SoFi Stadium. So, yeah, that's a bummer for the Rams. But the Rams needed to win, and they needed the Cardinals. Well, the Cardinals and Rams were going for first place in the NFC West, but the Cardinals lost to the Seahawks, who were terrible in maybe Russell Wilson's last game. So the Rams didn't even know it, but they lost and still ended up getting ended up winning their division. So it really didn't matter except for the 49ers knocking out the Saints. So the playoff schedule is set. Raiders, Bengals. We'll get to see Joe Burrow in his first playoff game. Will be a lot of fun. Pats, Bills. Their division was decided. The Bills won the AFC East 2 years in a row, but that really isn't going to matter if they lose to the Patriots, but the Bills will host them. Eagles, Bucks, again in the playoffs, back-to-back years will be interesting. Tom Brady matching up against the Eagles again, who they played in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Niners, Cowboys, super classic NFC rivalry. It's been a long time since that game has mattered. Steelers, Chiefs will not be very much fun. The Chiefs will probably throttle them. Also, Jackson Mahomes, you see his video?
I did not.
Made a TikTok and was wearing a jacket in which his name was misspelled. Oh, it's pretty awesome. Okay. So everyone was just making fun of Jackson Mahomes because that guy's the worst. And then Cardinals, Rams. So two of the games are between division rivals, which will be a lot of fun. Monday night, we'll have Monday Night Football in an NFC West battle in LA again after the LA fan base embarrassed themselves by not showing up to a borderline playoff game last week. I wonder if the Cardinals fans will invade SoFi Stadium and make it a Cardinals game. So just an unbelievable weekend. It mattered. All the games basically mattered all day long when we didn't expect them to, and that's why the NFL is best.
Not bad.
Not bad. I probably missed some stuff. I mean, the Browns-Bengals game didn't matter at all. That was one of the only ones that didn't matter. The Panthers are an embarrassment. Now they're trying to hire Jay Gruden as their offense coordinator.
Oh, yeah, touch on that. The Panthers offensive coordinator. We got some people weighing in. What do you got on the Panthers offensive coordinator?
I think they have too much money committed right now. So I think they would love to blow it up and fire Matt Rule, but I know that David Tepper has already – there's been stories that says David Tepper's kind of embarrassed and regrets committing so heavily to Matt Rule at the beginning. I think most Panthers fans would love to just fire him right now. His stock has gone down so far, so fast. They're going to stink next year. They have no chance of being a good team next year. So, yeah, I think they're just waiting another year so they can fire him and get a new head coach.
That is Patrick Perez.
Jay Gruden's not fixing Sam Darnold. Sorry.
All right. You got it. There you go. Well, there you go. There is the new segment. We will continue to work with Patrick on that. Not bad. A lot of information there.
Yeah, and I squeezed a couple episodes of the new Boba Fett show on Disney Plus in.
Go ahead.
Pretty good.
Finish that.
It's not as good as The Mandalorian so far. It's not as good as The Mandalorian. This is replacing The Mandalorian, kind of the spinoff of The Mandalorian, classic Star Wars character, but the show's not as good yet.
Okay. We look forward to that each and every Monday, right around 7:15. You can join us for Patrick Pretz. I like if you got one that said Patrick's Ponderings. You got Patty's thoughts. I said Patrick Pretz thoughts from the couch is how I labeled it on the live stream. We'll have to come up with a very good title for that. And of course, if you want to be a part of that, sponsor that. We'd love to have a sponsor for Patrick Pretz thoughts of the week, or whatever we're going to call it. We'll continue to work on that one as well. But Patrick with his take, and yes, next week you'll have playoff takes.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
You'll be able to weigh back in on maybe college football a little bit. So each and every Monday, 7:15 is when you can catch up with that. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
More of the early game coming up on 107.5 The Game.
Oh, yes. Lovely weather. The weather is driving me crazy a little bit. Like this morning, cold. Yesterday, I was actually able to sit outside and watch some of those playoff games that Patrick was talking about. Was actually sitting out, looking at the lake, enjoying the weather a little bit. Then you got to get the heat going again in the house because it drops down into the low 30s at night. I believe it's supposed to be colder tonight. Again, that raises the question. How's your heating and air unit working right now? If you've got questions, if you've got concerns, don't wait any longer. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Roy and Dana Finley, they work with me. They've treated me like a family member, a shorter family member, mind you, but a family member nonetheless. They will definitely take care of you as well. 803-677-1500. Give them a phone call today. Tell them you heard it here on 107.5 The Game with Bill Gunner. Get them out to your house for a $59 inspection. That's right. Just $59 to check up on that heating and air unit. Make sure everything is working perfectly fine. It is doing the things it needs to do to take care of you and your family. And with AAA Heating and Air, the customer service, second to none. Roy and Dana Finley, again, you heard me talk about AAA Heating and Air and how they run their business. Find out for yourself. 803-677-1500. $59. Get them out to your house. Get that heating and air unit inspected. If there's an issue, they'll offer you a $1,500 rebate to buy back your old unit. For those who qualify, no money down, 0% financing on a new unit, and then a 15-year parts and labor warranty. Don't wait around. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. Shepherd'sGlass.com. Earlier accidents have been cleared, so no tie-ups to speak of as of right now. And weather-wise, looking pretty decent. 52 for the high today, 47 tomorrow. It's 50 right now at 107.5 The Game.
Hey, guys, it's Jay Phillips for Integrated Media. Let me ask you something. When's the last time you tried to have work done in the house and it actually went well? Did you have to call multiple times to get a quote, or worse, no one even called you back? What about when something wasn't working right? Were you able to get in touch with that company and get some help? Integrated Media is not like the other guys. From their dedicated office sales and service team to after-hour support with their smart service plan, Integrated Media is attentive from start to finish and for years after the installation. With home technology such a crucial part of what we do every day, you need a company you can count on, and Integrated Media is that company. 803-948-8327. From installation of equipment to making sure that everything works with Wi-Fi to cameras for safety, they'll do it for you. 803-948-8327. 15 years in business means that you can trust what integrated media does for you. Integrated media, watch, listen, control, and they'll call you back. 803-948-8327. Call my very good friends at Integrated Media.
Locally owned Atlantic Windows and Doors has been making Columbia area homes more comfortable, attractive, weather-tight, and energy efficient for over 35 years. How? By distributing products from the best window and door manufacturers in the country. These products give you the best looks, the best quality, and the best value, all based on your specific...
Sorry. So I guess I'll restart all of that. They didn't hear you? No, we had the commercials playing. We were talking about DeCarrion Joyner signing limited edition bottles of mayo. And I have the tiniest bottle of mayo that they had. And I got Wonder Bread. If anyone eats a banana mayo sandwich, what kind of bread do you use? Because I just assumed it would be white bread.
I think that's the right way to go.
Is it one banana per sandwich?
As to how where we're putting it, so it's kind of a pain to get to. And then but you don't know where to go. So you don't have access to where to go. I don't know. You need to look at that. So you could decide whether you want to pick that. So definitely have to cut this. So but and I think we usually worry about pieces. Maybe do you like dinner, but I don't.
Cut the banana long ways. What? Like long strips? I guess I can do that. Oh, interesting. Try. All right. I will try to do that. And
we'll promote this on the live stream. You do this at the top of the hour. Come back, we'll probably get 1 or 2 of those and still got some of the It is. I mean, it's kind of
Counting on that, you know.
all right, we're back.
Anything you miss, make sure you go to 1075thegame.com's webpage. You can click on the podcast tab at the top and check out any interviews there. Jen will have, we'll come up with a good name. We'll come up with a good name for the Perrette Thoughts of the Week. We don't want to make it too generic. We've got a couple people weighing in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. John says Patty's Pro Football Review. Another Patrick says Patrick's Pretzels. Yeah, you get the point. We'll come up with a good little title for that, but that'll be a weekly segment where we just turn Patrick Perrette loose. You heard it. He didn't even get it. Is it Boba
Fett?
Boba Fett. Yeah, he didn't even get completely involved in that. There will be times, obviously, there is less NFL or college football to talk about, and you can actually Patrick will be able to go down a movie or a television show direction there that he might want to go.
Carrot from the couch. I love that.
Carrots from the couch.
I like that.
Carrot from the couch.
All right. Can you look at the live stream and look at this advice I'm getting for this banana sandwich?
Yeah, real quick, 803-404-6100. If you want to hop on the Buford Lending live stream as well, Patrick is now preparing or will be preparing here momentarily.
Yeah, I'll make the sandwich in this break, then we'll end the hour, and then I'll eat it during the end hour break.
Yeah, you can go to youtube.com and search 1075 The Game. You can find our YouTube page on 1075 The Game. We ask that you subscribe. We ask that you be a part of the program. We enjoy all of our subscribers and listeners, but you can go to youtube.com. then you can search 107.5 The Game, subscribe, and you can join us each and every morning and see our beautiful smiling faces. And coming up here in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I guess, Patrick Perrette is going to be paying off. And I don't like this because you're not suffering. You're kind of excited about this.
If it's a food thing, I'll do it. I'll always try it. I mean, I don't like.
It should make you. It's cold. I should make you go outside and eat it just so there's some element.
I don't prefer to eat crickets, but I ate a cricket on this show to pay off a bet.
It's true.
I'll just eat. I'll try anything.
He ate a cricket for those of you who are new to this, he had a cricket in a lollipop. We didn't have, it wasn't like we were going fishing and we had crickets just jumping around the studio.
Is that freeze dried?
Yeah, the engineer would have frowned upon having crickets hopping around in the studio. He freaks out if we have coffee too close to a mic. Crickets hopping around would have really
sent him over the edge. Yeah. Sorry, did you see Chuck's latest suggestion for a name?
PPs.
Weekly
Blitz.
I don't know. Just
I like that.
laugh.
Yeah, but you can
PB.
You can go to the live stream and you'll be able to see that. Like we said, Patrick will be fixing the banana and mayonnaise sandwich. What do you got over there? You get the Wonder Bread?
Yeah, I assumed that white bread was what everybody uses. So I got white bread. I got the normal, regular Duke's mayo. I got the smallest one, and then I got 4 bananas.
Okay, Duke's. Yeah, we got the Duke's mayo because
we've discussed it on the show. I didn't know that you could just take off bananas from the group of bananas at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you were worried about like taking off the mattress tag. You were concerned that you can't break apart a bunch.
Yeah,
I thought you had to buy the whole bundle.
Like, if there's 6, you might only want 3. You can break them all from
I know years ago I was kind of like that where I thought, well, this is how they are, so you can't change it. But no, yeah, you can break off what you need.
Yeah, but I took off 2, and there's just 2 bananas sitting there, and I felt terrible about it. Like, who's gonna buy those?
They're people who just need
803-404-6100. Is it common knowledge? I'm interested in this because I've known this for a long time. And I feel like you two I'm sure you two have figured out. Patrick just figured it out over the weekend. 803-404-6100. Yes or no? That's all it is. Yes or no? Is it common knowledge you don't have to buy the whole grouping of bananas? Just yes or no?
They're also so cheap. This was like $1.
Yeah, bananas.
4 bananas. I should have just bought the 6 of them and thrown 2 of them out if I didn't want them.
Or you could eat them. They're healthy. Bananas are relatively healthy.
Yeah, they are healthy. I don't like them.
A good breakfast item. Good breakfast. We talk about that. The convenience store breakfast. 803-404-6100. So coming up during this break, what we will do is Patrick on the live stream will prepare the banana and mayonnaise sandwich. Kids, if you're heading to school and your parents are taking you, I would encourage you to go for a donut. Tell the parents, hey, it's Monday morning. I deserve a donut. Starting school on a Monday is rough to begin with. Patrick Perrette, though, is going to pay off a bet he lost by 1 game, Patrick.
Yeah.
One singular game.
By a point.
By a point. He lost 1. And so his punishment is to eat a banana and mayonnaise sandwich. He's got Wonder Bread. He's got a small thing of Duke's mayo. We're going with the Dukes over the Hellmans because it was the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Yep. Kudos to them. You said, by the way, DeCarrion Joyner signed 100 Dukes.
I think it was 100. And he signed bottles of Duke's Mayo. And on the back of them, there's like a sticker of authenticity. And it says number 80 of 100. Or maybe it was 200. But they're numbered like that. Look at DeCarrion Joyner's Twitter page. I'm sure we'll be there. But that's what I said. When people say, what does the SEC, it just means more mean? It's that.
There you go.
That's what it means. Yep. Signed Mayo.
So a lot there. So on the live stream, again, go to youtube.com, search 107.5 The Game. You can do it that way. You can just hit the search bar, 107.5 The Game. You can find our YouTube page. You can subscribe and you can watch. In the break, Patrick Perrette will prepare himself a banana and mayonnaise sandwich. Now, we do have a couple suggestions on this, how we're supposed to do it. Somebody suggested cutting the banana basically
long ways,
like long ways in half and just wrapping the bread around it.
Yeah, somebody did it hot dog style. I'm not doing that.
I thought you were supposed to like cut them into like small little circles. Is that what you were going to do?
That's what I've always done because I used to have peanut butter and banana sandwiches.
Yeah, I've done that once. It wasn't awful. So, all right, that'll happen on the live stream as we roll along here. More national championship discussion. Alabama and Georgia tonight. The Bulldogs, a 2.5-point favorite. We'll get back into South Carolina's victory over Vanderbilt this past weekend, as well as Dawn Staley and her team knocking off Kentucky yesterday. So big wins for the basketball program. And Patrick, pays off the bet. A banana and mayonnaise sandwich. You can check that out on our live stream. Just go again to youtube.com, search 1075 The Game, subscribe, and watch there. You can also go check it out on our 1075 The Game Facebook page as well. You're listening to the early game on 1075 The Game. The cold weather, it can cause muscles, it can cause joints, it can cause pain, it can cause your body to stiffen up, kind of limit your mobility. And let's be honest, in 2022, you do not want to deal with that again. And if people have been telling you the only way you're going to get healthy is with surgery or with steroids or opioids, addictive pain medications, that's not true at all. Take the non-surgical approach with QC Kinetics. 803-281-6860. There really is a better alternative than surgery and addictive pain medications, and it starts with the regenerative medicine of QC Kinetics. 803-281-6860. Call them today for a free consultation and start getting your quality of life back. 803-281-6860. That's how you can get in touch with QC Kinetics. Emmitt Smith, longtime football player, 15 years to be exact, has been known to use QC Kinetics. And you would think if a former NFL running back who took a lot of hits over his career thinks that QC Kinetics is the way to go about re-healing your body, getting your quality of life back, I think it's a good idea for you to try as well. I use it. You need to as well. 803-281-6860. Again, all consultations are free. So if you're suffering from issues with your muscles, ligaments, tissues, if you've got inflammation, call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. 803-281-6860.
All right. Do people eat the nubs of the bread? I'd never eat the nub.
Are you talking about the very end?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. In college, I was more inclined to eat it, but, it kind of just depends. If I'm hungry and it's there and it's the only piece of bread left.
Yeah. I mean, I am by myself, so I'm usually not eating a whole loaf of bread by myself, so I immediately just trash the top piece. All right. So I think one of the pieces of advice was cut the bread in half first, which I am on board with that. I'm not doing half though. I'm doing triangles. I love triangles. Make sure to go kind of heavy on the Dukes. I will. All right. So would you agree? Would you agree with that, Bill? Cut the bread in half first.
I think it's however you want to do it. I mean, if you want to, to be honest with you, I could if you made it a open face sandwich. Does that make sense? Just you might want to make sure you keep that hidden in case Ed walks by.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. How we're not supposed to eat or drink in the studio, but what am I gonna do? Drop a banana onto the? I don't know.
Yeah, I got you guys' back if there's an issue. See, now I would have made the sandwich and then I would have cut it.
No, make it then cut it. Let's see here. You should
All right,
you should do one side
Yeah.
Dukes and the other side. Oh boy, Ryan. Oh man. Yep, Roger. We'll come back to that. Muschamp to lose. Yep.
So should I put mayo on both sides of the bread?
Circles.
Yes.
Yep.
Below and on top of the bananas, I would think.
I actually had some banana nut muffins over the weekend. They're delicious. That was good.
Didn't see any on my
Jan
doorstep.
says, "Why are you cutting the bread first?" Yeah, I don't know. But it's Patrick's sandwich. He can make it
Well,
however he wants.
because I'm gonna cut the banana into little pieces like that, so it'll be easier to just stuff them on the top. Also, I kind of cut through this plate a little bit.
You make the sandwich first and then cut it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But someone gave me that advice. I swear someone gave me that advice on a live stream, and I said, you know what, that's kind of a good idea. This has got it. If this isn't enough mayo, be very surprised.
That is
This is a lot of
That's a
mayonnaise.
good lot of that's a good
This is a
portion of
lot of
mayo. I do
mayonnaise.
agree with that.
We're going to be coming back shortly.
Yeah.
Well, we're not gonna have what, more than a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
All right.
Hmm.
This has to be enough mayo, right?
Yeah, 2.5.
There's a lot of mayo on there. Yeah.
Ugh. Now that I'm smelling it, I'm not that excited. Ugh.
How's it coming over there?
I was kind of excited to try it, but now that I'm smelling the mayo and looking at the banana, I don't like it very much. I'll be surprised if I enjoy this.
It looks awful.
Well, then that's a win for Bill.
It
if
looks
you don't.
awful.
I guess so.
It looks.
Mhm.
It looks.
I put a lot of mayo on there. Nobody can criticize that I didn't put enough mayo. I wanted to make sure of that.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. I've started
And
using,
slicing a banana with a knife that still has some mayo on it is also gross.
Yeah, I've started using mayonnaise more often than not when I have to, like, for a sandwich, like just to keep it from being too dry. But the bottom line is I'm not a huge mayonnaise eater. Like occasionally maybe on a hamburger, but yeah, it's and if you can go again to the live stream, go to
Am I
Go
putting a
to-
full banana on here? Like, is that how much it is?
I think
Or just
I
one
think you
layer?
need to, I think you need to put it as
A
many.
full banana would be a lot.
Allen weighs in on the Buford Lending live stream, says Patrick will never eat mayonnaise again. So yeah, if you're wondering, Patrick, this is from our
I am a mayo guy.
this is from our bet that Patrick and I the bowl pick'em contest that we did, our own personal bowl pick'em contest that we did, and Patrick, I beat him by one game. I lucked up and won this because trust me, I would not be able to handle this quite as well as Patrick is.
This is because I had Ohio State in the Rose Bowl
And I had Utah.
and Ohio State won by 3, but the line was 4.5.
That's right. So
All right, so hang on. Don't take a bite yet.
Yeah, we'll do that. You can go again. You can go to the YouTube.com, search 1075 the game, and you can join us there. You can also go to our Facebook page, 1075 the game's Facebook page, to be able to watch Patrick here as he is preparing some white bread, some bananas, and some mayonnaise, and he will enjoy this coming up here in just a few minutes during the break. And then when we come back, we'll tell you how it went. But you can watch. You can go to the live stream here during the break. Stop what you're doing. If your boss comes and checks on you, just say we're watching the early game. One of the morons had to eat a banana and mayonnaise sandwich. Your boss will totally understand.
My goal is to eat one whole side. I cut it into 2 halves, triangle halves, and my goal is to eat one whole side of it.
Looks awful. I don't eat a lot of mayonnaise, and I definitely could not do that. Go check it out on the live stream. You can also weigh in this morning. 803-404-6100 is how you can do so. We'll get into some basketball talk. We will get back into Georgia and Alabama tonight. Roger weighing in and at least admitting that he is childish. Roger on the Buford Lending live stream says he's pulling for Alabama, but only because Will Muschamp is coaching for Georgia, and he is childish about that. You can weigh in as well. You're listening to the early game. Go to the live stream. Let's see how Patrick handles the banana and mayonnaise sandwich on the early game. All right. So you're going to try and eat the whole sandwich?
I mean, I'm gonna try and eat at least one of these triangles.
Scrumptious.
You wanna?
That's not a good start.
There's a lot of mayo.
Oh.
Yum.
I can't even know if I can look at that. That looks awful.
It's not gonna show up.
No, it doesn't show up good. It doesn't show up good on that, but yeah, that does not look. Oh.
Yeah, it's not good.
Kelly, it's not. Yeah, I can't even watch him eat it. Oh. Especially at 8 a.m. in the morning. You got your sweet tea over there? What have you got? He's got an Arnold Palmer sweet tea. Oh, that looks. You gonna be able to get the whole half of one down?
The facial expression says it all.
Yeah. Hope says it gets better as you keep eating it. Oh, that does not look joyful at all. But yeah, that's what happens.
There's just a lot of better things you can mix a banana with. So why would you do this?
Somebody said you should do mayonnaise and pineapple. I thought, no. Yeah, that's to me even worse.
DC, I used to slide mine over to my chubby brother because he loved it. Anthony says your grandmother eats a mayonnaise and banana sandwich every morning, Anthony?
No.
Oh, Patrick's
every day. Ugh. Yeah, look, ultimately, I'm gonna be able to finish it, I think. But it is not good. Does not taste good. I don't know why you wouldn't just use peanut butter.
No, see, Jason, he had to use the it was every single morning.
There's certain parts where you pull the sandwich together and there's like clumps of mayo. That part's gross.
Well, I don't know if I'll be eating
What?
today.
Are you kidding me? Look at this mixture of advice we get. The key is to only use a small bit of mayo. Earlier, what do we get?
Yeah, I'm with you, Kelly. That looks brutal. That looks brutal. Oh,
Don't do just a light layer. Go all in. Make sure to go heavy on the dukes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to know. He had to use a good bit. Yeah, Hope, I'm with you. He had to pay it off. Yeah, normally, but
yeah,
that. Oh, there you go, Chris. Some nanner sandwiches. Oh boy. But Chris, do you use it with mayonnaise or do you just go with
I
some
think
kind
that's
of
what
peanut butter? I've had peanut butter and banana, and that's not while I've had it once.
dude, it's not good at all. I'm sorry, guys. I wanted to like it. It's not good at all.
A slathering. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, again, when I did the pizza, I lucked out. The slice that I got didn't have all the hot sauce on it. When we were doing the pizza one, no, Hope, he's not. I won. That was why when we made the bet, I wasn't crazy about the bet because I knew I would hate this. Patrick was actually kind of excited about it, but it looks like, did you finish?
No, I've almost finished 1.5. This is how much I have left.
No. Peanut butter, mayonnaise, and banana sandwiches?
Why?
Yeah, I had a caller that said you need to have peanut butter on there.
I've made that a bunch of times. Peanut butter and banana or peanut butter and honey. Or banana and like butter the bread, put banana with some cinnamon sugar on it. That's good too. Not this.
Yeah, that looked. That did not look appetizing. That looked absolutely.
This is the last piece of the half. Would it be better if it was toasted?
You know, I'm okay. I'm with.
That's a good idea. I mean, there's a lot of mayo on both sides.
That looks awful. But he did it. He did it. And now we'll have to come up with what we think is the next wager for the month of January. Clarence, I agree. I definitely could not have done what Patrick just did. That was.
You say the lots of mayo was a troll? I think all of the people saying that they genuinely like this is the troll. Try and trick me into thinking that it might not be that bad. It's pretty bad.
So, Bill, you're not going to try it?
No. It looks awful.
Plain and simple.
Jen Jensen. The coffee is brewed, the donuts are fresh. It's time for the early game
Hey, will you guys let me know if this ever airs?
on 107.5 The Game.
Well, that was entertaining to some extent. Nobody got sick in here. That was I think, a step in the right direction. If you joined us on the Buford Lending live stream, and a lot of you did, saw the numbers spike up, saw a lot of people that have never joined us on the Buford Lending live stream hop on and weigh in as Patrick Perrett during the break managed to get himself through a banana and half of a banana and mayonnaise sandwich.
I'll still keep going. I'll try and finish it.
You don't have to, buddy. You followed it through.
Unfortunately, I wanted to like this. I went into it very open-minded, hoping that it wouldn't be that bad because it wasn't a full-on punishment in my mind. But then it turned out it actually tasted really bad.
Yeah, it looked awful. It looked really, really bad. If you've missed it.
I have a video that's uploading as we speak to Twitter, just for people to enjoy a little bit.
There you go.
I just don't get it. Like, obviously, peanut butter is better than mayo with bananas.
Yes.
Why? I just don't know why, with all of the options you have in a grocery store right now, why are we doing this still?
Buddy weighs in. A banana sandwich with mayo is a treat. Delicious. Now, we again, one thing was there was a lot of mayonnaise on that thing because it was losing a bet. He was losing a bet, and that he needed to pay that off. So we had that. So you can go back. Jen's got a video that she's uploading to Twitter. Anything you've missed, you can go to, again, the live stream. Those stay up, so you can actually go to the live stream and rewatch that. Roughly about 2 hours in, you can go and check out the video from that if you want. You can hear the off-air commentary. You can always go and check out our live stream as well. Go to youtube.com, search 107.5 The Game, and do that. Jeff weighs in. One of my brothers used to eat banana, mayonnaise, and cheese sandwiches. God, I can't believe I'm gonna.
So maybe the next thing I need to bring in is I made this weekend egg, olive, and cheese.
That sounds awful.
Ooh, olives give me the shakes.
Oh, that sounds
green olives do?
All olives, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So far in my life, I know that I can't eat tomatoes and I can't eat olives.
Clearly.
I mean, I do it.
What
I try.
a loss.
Every time I get like a Bloody Mary or anything that's going to come with an olive, I'll eat the olive now just to try and force myself into it. Because I heard a story of someone that, I can't remember who it was. It was an NFL player. I think it was Joe Thomas. I think I heard an interview with Joe Thomas who said he couldn't eat olives. So he bought a Costco-sized jar of olives and then just continued to eat them until he enjoyed olives.
Interesting.
So I'm trying to just make myself
olives. Because I did make that this weekend. That's something that I like and that I grew up with. And my husband's like, you just go ahead and make that. I'm going to leave the house because it stinks.
Yeah, it looks.
I mean, I had this discussion
that sounds
this
awful,
weekend.
And that didn't look much more appetizing.
I know what to bring in for breakfast tomorrow.
Because I bought liver pudding too. So I do have liver pudding at the house and I'm going to try. I don't know if I can just fry it on the skillet. There's all sorts of suggestions that people are making, and they're saying it's very important to cook it right. I don't know. I don't know if it is. It's already fully cooked. I could eat it cold if I wanted to, but I'm not doing that.
Oh, We'll get more into
If
that.
there's more ideas, I'll continue to do them.
We'll get more. We'll come up with another wager for the show here next month. Somebody asked, did I ever pay off the hockey goalie? When I still guess I need to do that. The problem is now Alan, who was kind of our hockey guy who is going to make that all work, is no longer affiliated with the hockey program. So maybe we'll reach out to Carolina's club hockey team and see if I can get over there and let you, although I would prefer you not be the one taking the shots on goal because
I can't skate.
You're okay. Well, maybe that helps.
I can't skate. I've only skated once in my life, and I was maybe less than 10 years old.
Maybe
you can get in lacrosse pads.
We're not doing that either. We're not.
That would hurt much more than hockey goalie.
803-404-6100. That is how you can join us this morning. We have already talked a lot about the national championship game. We've talked a lot about the NFL weekend that was. We got into a little bit. South Carolina Saturday afternoon goes to Nashville and knocks off Vanderbilt 72-70. James Reese, 13 points on the afternoon. Wildens Levesque with 10 points, 3 rebounds. Eric Stevenson, solid game. Didn't shoot the ball from three-point range like he probably would have preferred. He was 1 of 4. But again, he is 9 points, 6 rebounds from the field. You get a little bit of a contribution from A.J. Wilson with 6 points. 3 rebounds. Jermaine Cousinard continuing to kind of find his rhythm, I think, with this team. 9 points, 4 rebounds for him. Keyshawn Bryant was back on Saturday, played 12 minutes, 6 points, one rebound, and then managed to foul out. But, Patrick, it'll be a big week for Frank Martin's team. You got a really tough one. They're going to be an underdog on the road tomorrow night against Tennessee. Tennessee is long, athletic. They're very similar to Auburn. It's not really a great matchup in my mind, but it's a great opportunity for South Carolina. And then on Saturday, you get the game against Florida, to which I do think South Carolina can win that one. At home, that one will set up a little bit better. So, once again, you feel like if South Carolina can split this week with Florida and with Tennessee, you call it a successful week for Frank Martin and his team.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you've got some confidence back. You're going to end up, as a South Carolina fan, writing off that Auburn game. It was a long break. There was COVID issues. Guys weren't I assume they were not practicing that much. And Keyshawn Bryant got hurt. And it was not a good situation playing a really, really, really good team. Vanderbilt, best player in the conference, at least according to the media preseason. You do a pretty good job on him. 17 points, below his season average at least. And you just made things difficult for them. They really dominated the paint, I think, South Carolina early on at least. They were not hitting from three-point land. It was just not working out. That's going to be kind of a problem for this team going forward, is that just certain nights the three-point shot disappears, and then certain nights you have Eric Stevenson just shooting out of his mind. And that's been a theme of South Carolina basketball for years now. You just can't have a consistently good three-point shooting team. But you got a big win on the road. You got your mojo back, and you got to just look at the Tennessee game as an opportunity. Not this is going to be tough. It's going to be a challenge. It's an opportunity to pick up a big win against a top 25 team and get some real momentum going forward in the conference. You're 1-1 in conference, and get back home next weekend against a good Florida team, hopefully 2-1, and you'll be feeling really, really good.
Dawn Staley's group picks up a big victory yesterday over a ranked Kentucky team, 20-point victory. Aaliyah Boston, just unbelievable, 18 points, 15 rebounds for Aaliyah yesterday. So they move on. They'll take on Texas A&M Thursday at Colonial Life Arena. The big game tonight, though, Alabama and Georgia. Patrick has got a poll question out. You can also now go to Jen's Twitter account if you really want to test what you can watch and what you can stomach. You can go to @Jen Jensen Morse is the way to do that. She has a video up of Patrick not loving his first sampling of the banana and mayonnaise sandwich. You can go to Patrick's Twitter account @_Patrick Perrette, where we have put up a poll question this morning in regards to tonight's national championship game. It is, who do you want to win? Who do you want to win? Right now, almost 200 votes in, Patrick. Alabama leading the way with 49.5% of the vote. Georgia, 17.4%. And I don't care, or just don't care, 33.2%. Mark weighs in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line this morning, and he says, I want Alabama to win because I believe that is what is best for Coach Beamer to make inroads into recruiting in the state of Georgia. Look,
not going to matter.
This game, yeah, in terms of recruiting, it really is kind of irrelevant. Georgia's pooling whoever they want in the state of Georgia and nationally.
And same with the texter. I don't remember who it was. It might have been Ray that said we want Alabama to win because we recruit more against them than Georgia.
Yeah,
what?
Georgia,
we recruit more against Georgia than Alabama. I was like, you guys, the three of those schools recruit against each other all the time because they recruit nationally and they just try to pick the best players from the entire Southeast.
I mean, if you want to be perfectly honest about it, and I've heard this recruiting pitch, so I'm not just making this up. If Georgia wins, if Georgia loses, if they lose, maybe it enhances Kirby's ability to recruit, although he's already recruiting lights out, because then he's going to any other player going, hey, you are the one guy that gets me over the top. You're the one. Yeah. We're right there. Look,
especially if it's a quarterback.
Well, they've got who knows what they're going to have.
You can argue that Georgia is better in every positional group in this game except quarterback.
Okay.
You can make that argument. Maybe not wide receiver because Alabama has the best wide receiver in the country, but Georgia does have more options than Alabama at receiver because after Jamison Williams, I don't know who they've got without Mechie. But Georgia is better. Probably like 18 or 19 of 22 spots on the field right now. They're so talented. It's ridiculous. But Bama's got the Heisman winner.
Yeah, the game in and of itself will have little impact. I mean, look at the class. Texas A&M is not even in.
That's the thing about bowl games. When you try to say, oh, bowl games are big for momentum, you can certainly spin it that way, and it was for South Carolina. But nobody's gotten better than Texas A&M without playing a bowl game.
Right. Yeah. If you haven't looked, Texas A&M's got the number one class in the country, and they continue to absolutely rack up. I believe they are still about 3 points ahead of Alabama in terms of all-time best classes. 6 5-star players committed to Texas A&M. They do have 28 commitments. 6 5-star players committed. That doesn't count the transfer of Max Johnson, who originally was obviously at LSU. So, yeah, I mean, look at the recruiting. It's Texas A&M. This is according to 247sports.com. Texas A&M with the number 1 class, Alabama with the number 2 class, and look right behind them. There's Georgia with the number 3 class. I mean, these schools are recruiting lights out. I think if you're a South Carolina fan, what you're hoping, quite frankly, is that the SEC goes to that pod system, and that you do away with getting Texas A&M each and every year. That's probably your best hope, to be quite honest. It's a fun trip. It's certainly worth going. I would encourage anybody to go out there and go to College Station. It's a great time. But no, tonight's game will have little to any impact on recruiting, especially as it pertains to South Carolina going against Georgia or Alabama.
Did you watch any of that All-American game? I tried to watch it for a little bit. I saw the Klubnik to Landon Sampson touchdown. I saw that Jackson State got the number 4 wide receiver in the country. And outside of that, I didn't see much.
I watched a little bit. Yep, Landon Sampson looked pretty good. Again, he's going to be a guy. South Carolina right now trying to get involved. Kobe Hudson, the transfer or dismissed player, depending on which storyline you want to follow there, from Auburn, is originally from the state of Georgia. South Carolina feels they're in a good spot with him. The Gamecocks also over the weekend hosting the transfer, whose first name eludes me at the minute. I'll look that back up. But the transfer from James Madison, who will also take a trip to North Carolina coming up here in the coming weeks. Antwain, I think it's Wayne, and Antwain Wells, I believe is how you say his name, the sophomore wide receiver from James Madison. But you factor in Josh Vann coming back. Landon Sampson did look very good. Cabe Klubnik obviously was very good over the weekend and kind of won their I believe, Player of the Game award, or they gave him an award there when I was watching in the fourth quarter. So, but Landon Sampson, a guy who, even though he's not enrolling early, could arrive at South Carolina and make an early impact. So a lot there happening over the weekend. South Carolina did pick up a transfer portal commitment, Terrell Dawkins, a defensive end originally from North Carolina State. 2 years ago, he led the team in sacks with 4.5 in the 6-game shortened. I think it was 6 games he played in that year in the COVID shortened season of 2020. He led this team in sacks, was injured this year. And as you mentioned, they made a transition going from a 4-3 defense to a 3-4. Yep. They put him more in a stand-up linebacker role, and he didn't particularly like the way they were utilizing him. So he elects to transfer in South Carolina. The beneficiary there is he is committed to South Carolina, will be on campus within the next week or two, and we'll go through spring practice. So some good news there. But Patrick, back to this championship game tonight. You bring up an interesting point, and we talk about recruiting. Kirby Smart has recruited so well at Georgia. I mean, Mark Richt was recruiting really well. Kirby Smart has indeed taken it to another level, and that's why York says, why would we want Georgia to add national title to their already great pitch? It's not going to matter. I mean, look, kids nowadays know Georgia has a great chance to go and play for a national championship. Just because you win it, I don't think that necessarily. Georgia's got the number 3 class right now behind potentially the greatest class of all time in Texas A&M and what Alabama does. What I would assume, though, tonight, though, you look at that roster, and does it come down to Stetson Bennett? I mean, is he the player of this game? If Bennett plays well, do you just say, yep, Georgia wins it? Or if Stetson Bennett goes out and can't get the job done, is that where the holdup is? Because behind him, you got Brock Vandegrift. You're going to have Gunnar Stockton. Who knows what happens with Caleb Williams? But the bottom line is Georgia's is that quarterback position. Is that the one you watch tonight and try to determine the outcome of this game?
Probably, because at the time when we were talking about Jake Fromm and then Justin Fields came in, at the time, it didn't make a ton of sense to bench Jake Fromm, and I don't think there were too many people pining for it, but in hindsight, Justin Fields probably would have taken them to another level that Jake Fromm was incapable of. Right now, they don't really have that guy. They have JT Daniels, and I said after the SEC championship game, I think JT Daniels needs to start in the national championship because he may turn the ball over, and it could be disastrous, but also his upside is just far greater than Stetson Bennett's. He can make throws that Stetson Bennett's incapable of making. Granted, Stetson Bennett can keep plays alive, and I think that he just kind of brings – I think guys rally around Stetson Bennett just from going to a walk-on and what they say the first thing that Stetson Bennett ever did in a Georgia uniform, basically, or his first contribution was being scout team Baker Mayfield for that Rose Bowl. I believe that's what they said in the last game, which I didn't know that story. But it's just he doesn't have the talent. Like Bryce Young is such a different level of player, and it's everything that Georgia has been able to do to make basically the perfect roster. Then not have that guy is crazy to me, especially when you look around and you look at like Ohio State. Quinn Ewers is transferring from Ohio State because he can't even get on the field because their quarterback room is so good. Mac Jones waited for years, and Alabama just goes from great quarterback to great quarterback to great quarterback. Spencer Rattler is transferring from Oklahoma because Caleb Williams was better than him, and the best at Georgia, who recruits at as high of a level as anyone, the best that they can do is Stetson Bennett at quarterback. It's just kind of mind-boggling they haven't been able to figure out that position.
Well, Carlos weighs in on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line, 803-404-6100. He says the reason Georgia hasn't and will not beat Alabama is because of Kirby. His coaching is what holds Georgia back from his mistakes in the SEC title game, letting Justin Fields leave, not going to Daniels in the previous game. He's the problem. And, it is interesting.
Yes,
think about this for a second. And not that I think that Jamie Newman would have been the all-world star and would have come out and, led Georgia to different things. What was Jamie Newman projected, Patrick? He was he was considered a top 3-round draft pick, and he transfers from Wake Forest to Georgia. And you think, all right, here's their guy, and he's going to light it up with Georgia, and then goes on to do nothing or doesn't even play.
Yeah.
Actually opted out. And is Jamie Newman even in the league? Like, where is Jamie Newman at these days?
He is not employed. Not employed at all. And I know that before the season, I know that Pro Football Focus put out a list of their top quarterbacks in the country, or top draft-worthy quarterbacks maybe, and he was number 1 in the preseason because physically he just has all the ability. But I can't remember. I don't even know what happened to him throughout the season to make that stock completely drop to 0.
But he wasn't. I mean, again, Jamie Newman is – talk about an interesting story there in Kirby. It'll be interesting tonight. Yeah, Nick Saban, I got to agree with Carlos. The coaching edge does go, in my opinion, to Nick Saban and how he coaches his team up tonight. Bryce Young, also best quarterback on the field tonight. How much does John Minchie not being out there hurt him, though? Because Slade Bolden, the next best receiver behind Jameson Williams, who I think you're saying is the top wide receiver in the country, will be the number 1 receiver off the board.
It'll be between him, Garrett Wilson, and Drake London from Southern Cal, probably.
So there's
Wilson
that.
From Ohio State.
If you want to weigh in, 803-404-6100. That's how you can join us. Anonymous texter weighs in. Is Georgia the new LSU? Always a quarterback away. And we saw LSU get Joe Burrow. They go on to win a championship.
Yeah.
Had all those players. Maybe that's a good point. So a pretty good text there. 803-404-6100. You can join us. Cool Care Heating and Air text line, or you can go to that Buford Lending live stream. Hope, Allen, Chuck, York, Kelly, bunch of people involved. Jan, Lauren, everybody involved this morning, hanging out. They were watching. Again, Trey says too much mayo in terms of Patrick's mayonnaise sandwich. Too much mayo.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, we got a new thing now where if I go too long in a break, Jen's able to shoot a Nerf gun at me.
Oh, that's
she
fun.
missed.
That's
She
fun.
missed, but that Nerf gun, that thing came at me a little fast. So yeah, it's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Live, local, and free. That's how we do sports. 107.5 The Game. Feel free to call and complain if you wish.
You should call that radio station and let him have it.
Remember, we are free of charge, after all.
That Nerf would have hit me in the eye. We'd be down a pair. I'd be out. Thing was.
That's why I didn't aim
That was.
that well.
I mean, this is not a normal Nerf item. If it should hit you, and if it did hit me, I'd be right now having to go to KC Chiropractic. We'd probably throw my back out. It'd cause a problem. I'd have to go see Dr. Pate and Dr. Roman Cooper right now. I'd be calling them 803-796-2424. I'd be going, guys, I need an appointment ASAP. Jen just took me out with a Nerf gun. I'd be asking them to make sure I get my quality of life back. Probably would need surgery, but with KC Chiropractic, I will try the natural approach before I try the surgical approach. How about this? Research has proven spinal decompression has excellent long-term effectiveness even after 4 years. So if you've been experiencing pain with your back, with your shoulders, with your neck, today is the day. Don't wait any longer. Call Dr. Pate and Dr. Roman Cooper with KC Chiropractic Center, 803-796-2424. If you're dealing with villains who look like James Bond type villains and are poking around the corner and shooting Nerf guns at you, you need to call the great doctors, Dr. Pate and Dr. Roman Cooper with KC Chiropractic, 803-796-2424. Hey, it is almost golf season. I was swinging the golf club yesterday too. So if you've been experiencing back pain, you need some work done, don't hesitate. Don't wait any longer. Call KC Chiropractic this morning. The doctors at KC Chiropractic Center are dedicated to helping you and your loved ones get out of pain and stay healthy so you can focus on enjoying your life. 803-796-2424. That's KC Chiropractic.
Jenwick is actually a great one. Anthony said Jenwick. Chad, I'm assuming that the Jags will stick and pick at 1 because unfortunately for them, this is a bad year to have the number 1 pick because there's no quarterback. Whenever there's not a quarterback that's worth trading up for, you're not really going to be able to get enough to make it worth trading down. I think they would love to, but Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau, the 2 pass rushers from Michigan and Oregon, are going to be the top 2 picks, probably. One of them is going to be the number 1 pick. I think Aiden Hutchinson will be the number 1 pick because he's had less health issues than Kayvon Thibodeau. He's been more productive. He was the best defensive player in the country this year, probably, and his measurables are going to be better. He's going to test through the roof at the combine, and Kayvon Thibodeau is a freak athlete, but apparently is not expected to test off the charts. So I think Aiden Hutchinson will be number 1, which is why it was a bummer for me that the Jags got the number 1 pick and not the Lions, because I wanted to see the Michigan guy, Aiden Hutchinson. Dad went to Michigan. I wanted to see him stick in the state of Michigan, and it would have been cool for Lions fans to have the face of their franchise be Michigan guy. Aiden Hutchinson's dad is Steve Hutchinson. If anyone remembers him, the former offensive lineman for the Seahawks, who was a stud for a really long time. I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame. He was definitely a multiple-time Pro Bowler. Yeah, I don't expect much action. It's actually not a very talented draft class, all things considered, compared to last year. When you look at the amount of blue chippers, there's way, way less than there were last year. However, the high end is still pretty high end. Last year's pass rusher class was terrible. This year's is really good. Offensive tackle class this year is good. Good group of wide receivers, not an elite group of wide receivers, but still good. I don't think there's a Jamar Chase. I think they're going to go with Aiden Hutchinson because he's going to test better and he was more consistent on the field. They won't be able to trade down because there's not a quarterback good enough that anybody's willing to send you multiple ones for. If there was a big-time quarterback in this class, they would happily trade that pick. But it takes two to tango.
First, they got to find a coach and decide what direction they really want to go in.
They also really could use a big-time pass rusher. They're like, that would actually substantially help their team.
Their roster's not like ridiculously.
No, it's not bad.
They actually have some pieces there. I mean, they're not going to go win the Super Bowl, but
they have a ton of money. They need to bring in offensive linemen. They need to make at least one splash.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, that was half of that sandwich is still sitting there, and it does not. There you go. What do you think, Patrick Allen?
Yeah, Baker's staying for this year. Their hands are tied on both ends. I think they already announced that they're going to keep him around. But this will probably be the last ride. He's just not getting it done.
Wow. Hope, if you're still on here, we jumped 7 subscribers for the mayonnaise segment. The
Nice.
Mayonnaise, we went from 955 to 962. So we jumped. So welcome to all the new people. Good to have you on.
That's awesome.
All right, we'll go back into the NFL. I'll get some of your. $8:28 on a Monday morning, January the 10th, National Championship Day. We are weighing in on both what's going on tonight with the National Championship game as well as the end of the NFL regular season. Some people asking some questions on the Buford Lending live stream. You can go and join us there if you would like. Go to the youtube.com and search 1075 The Game, and you can subscribe and watch. You can also check us out on Facebook as well. If you got a Facebook page, Jen has put up on Twitter the video of Patrick eating at least one half of the banana and mayonnaise sandwich. The other half still sits there, and it looks awful. It looks disgusting. So anything you've missed this morning, you can go and check that out. Also, Jen does an incredible job. She gets up a lot of the audio on 1075thegame.com. If you go and you click on the podcast tab at the top, you can go here. We're working on a name for it. It's going to be a weekly segment. We did it at 7:15 this morning. Patrick's Weekly Takes. We've had a bunch of offers on names on that. Going to need to get a good sponsor for that. But each week, Patrick will be able to give his weekly hot takes on whether it be sports or movies or shows or basketball or whatever it may be. But Patrick, let's fire through. NFL wraps up yesterday, and kind of an entertaining day. Strange day. The Lions beat the Packers. The Jags beat the Colts. You had a great game last night, but let's go through some of these questions for you real quick. BT weighs in. Patrick, who should the Panthers grab with their first pick?
I mean, I think Panthers fans can decide, but I think they just need to keep taking shots at quarterback. Unless they trade for Deshaun Watson, which I think would be the best case scenario for them on the field, would be using that pick to trade for Deshaun Watson, and maybe he'll be a little bit cheaper now because it seemed like initially the Texans weren't going to budge. They wanted 3 to 4 first-round picks and then a big-time player. Davis Mills actually played well yesterday, and everyone kind of agrees that after Mac Jones, he was the best of the rookie quarterbacks, which if you nobody expected Davis Mills to be better than Trevor Lawrence this year. No one. So he actually kind of feels like a piece that the Texans can build around. If the Panthers wanted to trade the number 6 pick, maybe another first rounder next year, put a player in there and a couple more picks, figure out a way to trade for Deshaun Watson and give the Texans the number 3 and number 6 picks in the draft, that would be big time for both teams. But that's the problem with this draft is that there's no guys that you look at and say, this guy's going to be a stud. No one can even make their mind up on who's the best. I think right now, most people would probably say Kenny Pickett's the best quarterback in this class from Pittsburgh, but Sam Howell's in that discussion. Matt Corral's in that discussion. Malik Willis from Liberty's in that discussion. South Carolina fans have seen Sam Howell and Matt Corral this year. If you've watched a lot of the SEC, I don't know if anyone is completely sold on either of those guys. I didn't think Sam Howell played bad in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. I think he didn't have much help, and South Carolina's defensive line dominated, but did he look like a generational player who should be a top 10 pick and you give the keys to a franchise to right away? Not really. So if the Panthers pick at that spot and don't want to go quarterback, I guess you're looking at Evan Neal from Alabama, who you'll see tonight. Just look at the left tackle. He's one of the largest humans you'll ever see on the football field. He's unreal, super freak athlete. You remember that video, Bill, of him doing the splits on those two, doing the vertical and doing the splits and catching himself in the splits. He's a mammoth of a human being. He's like 6'8", 360. So offensive line, probably.
And I think I'm with you. You take the best player available. If you can't get Deshaun Watson, and look,
but the best player available won't be a quarterback.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah. If you can't, I'm with you. And I know Watson's got the issues, and certainly that has to come into play. And you got to understand or be willing to maybe take whatever PR hit. And you certainly have to do your due diligence and make sure that he's going to be eligible to play or able to play at some point. But I'm with you. I don't think it's the quarterback draft where you go out and you take a chance on a Matt Corral or a Kenny Pickett. Stick with Sam. You've invested a lot of money in Sam Darnold. You're going to have a new offensive coordinator.
It's tough, though, because even more importantly, we've talked about it with Stetson Bennett in Georgia today, but it's even more important in the NFL. The quarterback is just everything goes through that position. And if you don't have the guy, you're just treading water. Like the Browns, there was a question about Baker Mayfield. The Browns have such a good roster right now. They have one of the best offensive lines, if not the best offensive line in the league. They're loaded on defense. They have studs everywhere, but Baker's just holding them back right now. And it's hard. It's hard to just try and build the perfect roster and then say, let's just plug a guy in. Like there's several teams. The Broncos are a perfect example. They have an unbelievable roster right now and have been saying for 3 years, all we got to do, just plug that quarterback in. The roster is championship ready. If we can just plug in a good quarterback, then we're good to go. Washington fans feel that way too. Maybe not so much anymore after this disaster of a season, but all we need is that guy. So it's hard to not just keep taking chances until you get the quarterback you need, but you can't just be wasting first-round picks. You can't be wasting top 10 picks. You need to get a big-time contributor in that spot.
And the Panthers roster isn't awful. You can upgrade. You can continue to upgrade that roster and then hopefully find the quarterback that you've been looking for via free agency or the draft. Or again, I know that the kind of the world we live in, we give up on quarterbacks extremely quick. Mark asks, how do you compare Trevor Lawrence to other rookie quarterbacks this year? I'd say incomplete because his coach, the whole thing with Jacksonville was a dumpster fire. I don't think you can judge Trevor Lawrence on what he did, good or bad, this year based on the absolute dumpster fire that Urban Meyer decided to create down in Jacksonville.
If you're a Jags fan, you're still sold on Trevor Lawrence. This year didn't do anything to make you think he's not the guy. He's not the answer. Their offense was a disaster. Their offensive line was a disaster. Their wide receivers were injured. He was in a horrible situation from the jump. This is an incomplete grade. You're going to say we still go into next year very confident that Trevor Lawrence will be the guy. This wasn't a Josh Rosen type season where you say it's only been 1 year for a top 10 pick, but we're ready to just blow this thing up. Let's go get Kyler Murray and just hedge our bets right now. But yeah, I think Jacksonville's got a ton of money. They need to bring in some linemen. They need to draft Aiden Hutchinson. He'll help that defense. Spend your money. Use your picks wisely. Don't just do dumb things in the draft. Travis Etienne didn't play, so it's not really fair to him, but that was a dumb draft pick. You don't need a running back. You need pieces that are actually going to help Trevor Lawrence thrive, and that was not what they needed at the moment with a 1,000-yard rusher already on the team. So, yeah, this is a big offseason for the Jags. I don't know who they're going to hire. I think it'd be cool if they hired Byron Leftwich just from a storyline position, but yeah, we'll see. Trevor Lawrence, we're not giving up on him.
803-404-6100. So the weekend that was in the NFL, we'll get more into the playoffs as we go through the week. Should be actually a pretty fun schedule. Just to give you a quick rundown on your NFL playoff schedule next week. Next Saturday, the first game of the playoffs.
What's the best game? Just gut looking at it.
Let me give me a rundown. I'll tell you what I like. Las Vegas at Cincinnati, 4:30 next Saturday. That'll be your first game, NBC. Game is in Cincinnati. I don't think the Bengals, I've got a buddy of mine who's a huge Bengals fan. I don't think the Bengals have won a playoff game in 31 years. Does that sound right?
That does sound right because when they were winning the division year in and year out, they were first-round exits every single time.
New England at Buffalo at 8:15. And you're asking me, that's my favorite one right there. Okay. It's going to be a night game. you hopefully
third matchup of the year.
Hopefully you get that snow, you get everything that look. I think it'll be cold. I'll probably have my fireplace on Saturday night. I'll be in front of that, hoping to be looking at really cold playoff weather.
Yeah.
That to me is the game. I think Buffalo right now opens as a 4.5-point favorite, but it'll be a night game next week. The wild card.
Their matchups have been awesome this year because the first one was that insane snow game.
Yep.
Insane winds. Mac Jones threw, I think, 3 passes in that game, and the Patriots won. And then the second one, Josh Allen played like he was the best quarterback in the league. So.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. Next Sunday, you'll have Philadelphia at Tampa, San Francisco at Dallas, which probably in terms of name brand teams, that's your biggest.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Because a lot of us who've grown
that's
up
the
watching
Nickelodeon
the NFL,
game too.
That's awesome. Great. Nickelodeon. San Francisco at Dallas, and your night game next Sunday night, Pittsburgh. They get in. Ben Roethlisberger. I guess this is it. No official announcement on retirement. We just all assume this is it for him. And it is cool to see him in the playoffs. I like that.
But it would have been so funny if they had won that game and they were dancing in the locker room. They were talking like they had just made the playoffs. But if Vegas and the Chargers had tied which they were 38 seconds from tying, if Brandon Staley doesn't call that timeout, it would have been so fun to say forever that Ben thought he was getting the playoffs, danced on Instagram in the locker room, and then just got snubbed because the Raiders and Chargers tied. I would never forget that.
That'll be your game next Sunday night, playoff game. And then first time ever I've seen this, but correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody remembers this. Yeah, next Monday night, a week from tonight, you'll have another playoff game, Arizona against Los Angeles. So it'll be the Cardinals and it'll be the Rams there. That'll be a Monday night playoff game. So there's your weekend playoff schedule. We'll get more into it. But yeah, that New England Buffalo game, Patrick, if you get the weather that you typically get in Buffalo in mid January, you get some snow involved in that game. You're right. The crazy winds. It should be a lot of fun. 803-404-6100. Also fun over the weekend. South Carolina men's basketball team goes up there. And Patrick, they go to Nashville and they win 72-70. But if you told me on Friday that Vanderbilt would make more three-pointers than South Carolina, they make 8, South Carolina's 3. If you told me that Vanderbilt would outscore South Carolina by 13 points from the free throw line, Vanderbilt was 26 of 36 from the foul line, South Carolina was 13 of 18, I wouldn't have told you they were going to win the ball game. But South Carolina scores 34 points in the paint to just 20 for Vanderbilt, and the Gamecocks find a way to win number 10 on the season. And again, continue. It's a quad 1 win. You win on the road. You beat a top 75 net ranking team. Quad one wins matter for something when you talk about NCAA tournament selection time. And South Carolina, as upset as people might have gotten on Wednesday morning, Tuesday night after the Auburn loss, they should be very happy with a victory over a 9-5 Vanderbilt team at this point in time.
Yeah, no matter what. And there was a lot to like about it. I mean, South Carolina, their bigs played really well. I saw that Wilton Zavek is one of the top 30 or 40 players in the country in offensive efficiency right now. He's playing really well. South Carolina dominated in points in the paint. They won that by, I think, 14 points, and they offensive rebounded well, and South Carolina scored 30 points off the bench. I mean, they go 11 deep right now. I don't know if they're going to do that for good, but it wasn't even like they just put somebody out there for 2 minutes. They played 11 guys, and all of them played double-digit minutes pretty much. So they're a deep team, and it's helpful. I mean, fast break points, 16-9. You look at the play analysis here on the Gamecocks Online website, and South Carolina did a lot of things really well. They just didn't shoot the long ball well, which happens every couple games at this point.
It does, and that's something we're going to have to continue to monitor. The only concerning stat I see, and this has just been South Carolina right now, 22 turnovers on the afternoon for them. It was Devin Carter who unfortunately led the way in that statistic, 4 turnovers for Carter. But right
after
now,
not playing much at all against Auburn.
Right now, you kind of figure that Carter's. You wonder the amount. Look, high school, the jump from high school to college. I mean, they've played 14 games. You've been practicing. Now your body starts to get a little tired. He's gonna have to fight through it. But you're right. You see him also. That's the way Carter plays. I don't want to say he plays out of control. That's not fair to him. But he takes some risks.
Well, because that was why after the Florida State game, it works out sometimes, and sometimes it hurts you. In the Florida State game, he scored those last 4 points, always had the ball in his hand in the final minute, and that was what the talking point was from all the other players, is that this guy's fearless. He came in right away and was not scared of the jump in competition. he wants the ball in his hands and he wants to make plays. And when you do that, sometimes when you don't know the speed of the game as well, but you still have all that confidence, it's going to result in some turnovers. And that's just how it goes when you play fast. He's nothing like Trey Hannibal as a player, but that was always what we saw with Trey Hannibal, is just trying to play so fast and always trying to make a play. It's going to get you fouls and turnovers, but it's also going to get you 6 points, five rebounds, 2 steals, 3 blocks in like 5 minutes of play. You're just going to stuff the stat sheet.
He is an active player. We'll see. South Carolina and Tennessee on Tuesday night in Knoxville. And then they'll return home Saturday against Florida, 1 p.m. at Colonial Life Arena. 803-404-6100 is how you can join us this morning. Matt weighing in. He says, I'm late to the party, but a banana and mayonnaise sandwich is a delicacy. You wouldn't agree?
No, it's
No?
No, it's not.
No, Patrick doesn't agree. Patrick has paid off his banana.
I was on the side that thought, I bet this isn't going to be as bad as it sounds, but it tasted exactly like it sounds like it tastes.
Yeah, it looked awful too. It looked absolutely awful, and a lot of you are weighing in with different suggestions on that. We will finish up the program and discuss the national championship game. Buddy weighing in, JT Daniels can't stay healthy. He's soft. Guarantee you Stetson or any other quarterback can't win it or lose it all by himself. And then this is my favorite take. Trey weighing in on the Buford Lending live stream. I don't think Stetson Bennett will leave Georgia. He's a lifer. That is true.
He's just going to stay?
Bennett, I think Bennett's another one of those guys that he just keeps applying for the extra year and nobody pays attention. He'll just put out after the game, he'll put out, hey, I'm back let's run it back one more time.
He
and
just
people
won't be allowed to play in games, but he'll still bring his shoulder pads and helmet to practice.
just stand on the side. Yeah.
Throw with the receivers, keep the receivers fresh.
That's right. Just always out there. Stetson Bennett tonight. Georgia Bulldogs. Bama, a 2.5-point underdog to Georgia tonight. We'll finish up the early game with a little bit of national championship talk. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Patrick Pratt, and Jen Jensen here on 107.5 The Game.
This is Gamecock basketball head coach Frank Martin, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game, WNKT FM.
Oh, fun weekend. A little cold, but maybe some of you were able to get out and do a little traveling. Maybe you went and visited Love Chevrolet. Why would you not go over there when you're looking for your next vehicle? The customer service is second to none. The selection, the largest of anywhere here in the Midlands, and that $1,000 low price guarantee. It means you can actually go shop other dealerships, take their deal back to the folks at Love Chevrolet, and the folks at Love Chevrolet will top it or write you a check for $1,000. Hasn't happened yet, won't happen anytime soon. That much I can promise. But what I also guarantee is when you go to Love Chevrolet, the customer service, the sales staff, how they treat you, how they talk to you, how they help you, absolutely second to none. Going and purchasing a vehicle these days, it's a big decision. Sometimes you go somewhere and you run into what's called sticker shock, where you arrive, you think you're getting a good deal, and then you look at the sticker on the car window. It turns out the price is a lot more. Extra add-ons or things have been added into the price that cause the price to rise. That's not happening in this time of high demand and low supply at Love Chevrolet. What you see is what you get, and that customer service, that sales staff, they are there to help you. Again, purchasing a vehicle, it's a big deal. It's not like just going out and buying a loaf of bread and some mayonnaise and some bananas. Purchasing a vehicle is quite the big deal these days, and when you go to do it, you want to feel comfortable with what you are purchasing. That's why I recommend going and seeing the great staff at Love Chevrolet. I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. You can visit them on the web as well, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads. Yeah, Mark, the Cowboys are definitely playing lights out. I mean, they just bludgeoned the Eagles, Saturday night. So it's the Cowboys are definitely playing well at the right time.
All right, for probably the 5th consecutive Monday, my plan today is to see James Bond.
5th consecutive Monday.
I can't believe that it's still in theaters. But that's the only thing that I even have interest in seeing in the theaters right now. After that, I'm canceling my membership.
Chiefs, Patriots. I don't think the Patriots go into Buffalo and win. I wonder what is the. Let's see if I can get the Buffalo weather real quick for Saturday night. See if I can look.
Did you get lines?
I saw it as 4.5. I was looking at the weather. Just looking here next Saturday. Next Saturday here, it's a high of 55 and a low of 35. Let's see.
All right. Gut feel for every game. Cincinnati -6.5. Ay. Yeah, I like it. Buffalo -4.5.
Whew. Today, the high in Buffalo is 19. The low is 4. It is 19 degrees in Buffalo. Tomorrow's 22. They do have a bit of a hot streak coming. It gets up to 36 on Wednesday. Saturday in Buffalo, New York, the high is 20. The low is 16. And they're calling for a few snow showers developing later in the day.
That's not going to be fun. Although it's far worse for the fans than the players.
Oh, yeah.
Because with the heating of the field and all the space heaters on the sideline, it's not going to be that bad for the players. If you're a fan, I mean, Buffalo fans are awesome.
Oh,
I wish I was a Bills fan. I just want to be one of them.
It runs wing T quarterback sneaks on 3rd and 9. Yeah. Woo. 20 degrees in Buffalo next Saturday and snow flurries.
Look at the play, Bill. That's where they were. They were on the 4-yard line. It's not even like they were in their end zone running a QB sneak on 3rd and 9. You're a joke.
Yeah, it's probably a bad look. Georgia in their list of tight ends there. Bowers, Darnell Washington. That's where he just posted up. Yeah.
Don't forget about Ladd McConkey either. Not a tight end, but one of the best names in college football. Imagine if Eric Gilbert was whatever was going on with him wasn't happening.
Yeah, I guess he's still there.
Yeah. I heard some things about what's going on, but
all right. Well, a pretty good morning. Hope we've gotten it to 962 subscribers. So if we can just couple more. Bumper pool. Yeah, I saw bumper pool for
Bumper Pool and Smoke Monday. Agreed. Both great names.
Bumper pool is running it back at Arkansas. Anything you have missed, 2 ways to go back. You can go to our podcast page. Go to 1075thegame.com. You can click on podcast tab at the top. We've got Patrick Prett's thoughts from the weekend. Again, we'll get a more creative name with that, along with some music that goes with it. And it'll be a whole new special Monday segment that Patrick will do, where he will just, not so much what grinds his gears, but he will give his hot takes and what he is truly invested in following the weekend. This past weekend was a lot of NFL for him. So you can go and listen to that on the podcast page. You can go and check us out as well on the Buford Lending live stream. All you got to do is go to youtube.com, search 1075 The Game. You can click and subscribe. We are working our way towards 1,000 subscribers. And even here in 2022, Patrick, we've got some more plans for the live stream as well. Who knows? Maybe even we'll jump on tonight and have a little bit of a live stream watch party in the first quarter. But a couple ways you can join us there. Gamecock Larry has already predicted, I believe, 38-34. He kept saying it and then telling us to figure it out. was a different way of making a prediction.
Mm-hmm.
But 38-34 from him tonight. For those of you wondering, the Vegas spread, as I look at it, Georgia, 2.5-point favorite. Over under 52.5, Patrick. Our good buddy who joins us each and every Thursday, Brian Edwards of VegasInsider.com and MajorWager.com. He likes Alabama. He liked Alabama plus the 3. He even said he might jump on the money line a little bit and grab some of that. You've been on the Georgia bandwagon all year long, going all the way back. You have been all over the Georgia bandwagon. You're going to stick with them tonight. What you got for the game?
I guess I'll go with 27-24. If you're Georgia, you just need to double cover Jamison Williams. You need to jam him every time he's at the line of scrimmage. You need to have safety help every single time. If Jamison Williams single-handedly beats Georgia tonight, Kirby Smart should be fired tomorrow. He's the only weapon on that team that can truly beat you by himself. Everyone else is super talented, of course. Brian Robinson's a great running back, but you've got the best defensive line in the country. You've got the best linebacking group in the country. Neither of them are particularly close. Let those guys do their job, stop the run, and just focus all your energy on not letting Jamison Williams beat you. Offensively, Stetson Bennett just can't turn the ball over. You cannot have 2 turnovers again. You can't throw a pick 6, of course, but take care of the ball. Try to run the football. Be stubborn with the run game. Get George Pickens involved. He brings a lot of energy to that team when he's making big plays like that sideline catch. He's now, I think, only played 3 games, but he's gotten almost a month of being healthy. So get him involved. He was your best receiver going into the season before he tore his ACL. Get Darnell Washington involved more than just one catch in the back of the end zone. Use those tight ends. Don't just make Brock Bowers do everything by himself. And please, just more important than anything, do not let Jamison Williams beat you by himself. That will be so embarrassing for Georgia if that happens again.
Brock Bowers last time out in the SEC championship game had 10 catches for 139 yards. Jamison Williams had 7 catches for 184 yards. John Mechie, the third, who is out tonight, had 6 catches for 97 yards. That's a big part of this. We'll see if a guy like Trayshawn Holden, Jaleel Billingsley step up. If either one of those 2 guys can step up and become that second wide receiver. But Patrick, the adjustments are going to be made both by Nick Saban and by Kirby Smart, but I'm going to side with Nick Saban tonight. The best quarterback, maybe the best player on the field, resides there with Alabama and Bryce Young. Last time out, 26 of 44, 421 yards, 3 touchdowns. He won't do that tonight. They won't need him to do that, but I think he will once again have a big night, and I expect I've got this being a little bit more low scoring. I think the defenses are going to be the ones that make the adjustments here, but I'm going to take Alabama 28-21 over Georgia tonight, maybe 28-24, somewhere in that ballpark. Maybe a field goal gets kicked, but I like Alabama by 4 points or more tonight. I like them. I like Georgia to have to score a touchdown late, and you're exactly right. Brock Bowers is the key here. 10 catches, 139 yards last time out. I think Nick Saban has more of a strategy for him this time. Keep an eye on Darnell Washington. You mentioned him last game, 1 catch.
Yeah.
5 yards.
Yeah.
And went for a touchdown, but 1 catch.
6'7", 250-pound athlete that can run like the wind. You've got to get him involved. Georgia has more secondary options than Alabama has on offense. They just don't have the trigger puller. So Bryce Young has to be pressured. You cannot let him sit back in the pocket and just deal like he did last time. He will destroy you. You got the 2 best athletes in the country at linebacker, Nakobe Dean and Channing Tindall. Blitz them. Make him feel pressure.
Georgia was 3 of 12 last time, also on 3rd down. So they got to be able to stay on the field and keep Alabama off of the field. We'll talk about this tomorrow. South Carolina will have a basketball game as well against Tennessee. There's so much to get into. Anything you missed, go check out the YouTube page, 1075 The Game. You can check Patrick eating that banana and mayonnaise sandwich. You did well, young man.
I ate half of it. It was gross. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
You can also go to Jen's Twitter and see the video. Thank you for listening. It's been the early game on 1075 The Game.
All right. Yeah, Joey, I agree. But Alabama still, I feel like, had better secondary options than they do right now. I mean, there's just no one. There's no one on the team that's done anything. Their best tight end is a converted lineman, Latu. I don't know. If they come out and Alabama's secondary receivers are huge and Jamison Williams doesn't have to do anything, you tip your hat to Alabama and say, good game. You're better than us. But I hope it's a good game.
We will all talk about it tomorrow. I appreciate everybody joining us. Hope you guys managed to get through watching Patrick eat that sandwich. Whew, that was something.
Yeah, it was gross.
Y'all have a great Monday. Take care.